Hello and welcome back, friends, to the Command Center. I'm Ellis the Medic, your host, and we're going to continue things with our B-Stream matchup. It's no B game, I'll tell you that much. On the analyst desk, though, joining me are two handsome lads. Demo.
Where are they?
Right here. Man in the Mirror. I'm looking at the man in the mirror. You know the song? It's a great song.
MJ.
Michael Jackson. Truly one of the greatest. Ollie, one of the greatest also. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to this one. I think the fact that this is on the B stream is maybe a bit of a shame because I think this is going to be an absolute banger.
What do you think, Demo?
I concur, yes.
Always very straight.
Whatever he says, yeah, sure.
What?
I'll go with him.
Believe it when I see it. Let's go then to our game and talk about both of our squads in this series. W7M versus Koi. I always see if both Demo and Ollie will agree on who takes this game because it's an EU team and a BR team. And I know both of you, I see the smirks already waiting like, I don't know, man. Why are you asking questions like that? But this is still a big fight here between the two squads. Promises to be our best one this morning.
Yeah, I think me and Ollie have mentioned before, we still can't believe where this team was a year ago. And the progress that this team has made is, you'll never see anything like it again. You just won't.
We're talking about Koi or we're talking about W7M?
Honestly, that's actually a really good point because look at last year whenever they were Rogue. Like, team was in the bin. Let's be honest. The team was it was on its last legs, and that SI that was the punch that knocked them out. It was, and then we seen that whole rebuild come in. I think for W7M, they're always going to be the favorites, no matter what matchup. I think any matchup at this event, they're always going to be the favorites because of the pedigree that they've had, the consistency that they've had throughout the year. Obviously, not even making a major final is the big blow for that side, but they're always going to be the favorites because they are just so good.
Ollie, W7M, Julio on the squad, Volps leading in the game. Everybody's popping off. Favorites, probably top 3 to win the whole tournament. How much better can it get in a year?
Well, this is it. This is Clash of the Titans time, really, because there's a lot of expectation on Koi, and there's also a lot of expectation on W7M. You can't go and win a major like Koi did and not be in the conversation for, well, they should do pretty well at SI. Likewise with W7M, a team that has been very consistent throughout the year, a team that has been to plenty of majors, so you look at them and you go, these guys have got to be in the conversation as well. I just like the way that W7M play. I think front to back, they've got a lot of strength. They've got some brilliant experience coming in there with a previous SI winner in Julio, and then obviously lots of young gunners to really bolster that.
The in-game strategy during the past matches that they've had here at SI, because by the end of the group stage especially, everything that you did before you came to Invitational is just useless. You can't really fall back on it. So what did you see over the past couple of days, Demo, that signals, okay, W7M, they really have it in them?
I think they went and put a statement against SSG, which I think shows the true grit to that side. You know, they had the landslide, the biggest, scoreline that we've had against SSG. So W7M in that regard, yeah, they are living up to expectations. For me, I think, I kind of feel as though the pressure's in W7M. I kind of feel it is because I think G2 exposed them. For the first time this year, we've actually seen W7M get exposed for weaknesses, and the weaknesses for that is a little bit loose on site sometimes, a little bit too heavy of a roam game. G2, I think, have played brilliantly this event. I think G2 have played, the meta where you need to see weaknesses in your opponents and expose that for all they're worth. G2 have done that. They're playing the meta. So I think for W7M, maybe you look at that G2 game and you think, okay, maybe we need to back up some things. Maybe we need to go just that one step back, simplify it a little bit more. Because I think Koi, again, they're a team where they will see opportunities, and like G2, they will expose them.
See, I agree. I think the G2 game was long enough ago now that W7M have kind of got a lot more confidence, and that's kind of firmly in the rearview mirror. They lost, what was it, 1 round against Space Station yesterday? That's crazy. In a best of 3, they lost 1 singular round. It's a big confidence boost. Obviously, we could question the way that SSG have sort of approached some of these games as well, but you've still got to play well to get that sort of a result. And I think that W7M, they've got that confidence.
Well, if you're using SSG as the mark, their opponents, W7M's opponents, Koi, still did pretty well against SSG. Now, we had this quick conversation earlier with Anne and Fresh on the desk for the SSG G2 game where he's saying, you know what, the ban phase also was a bit awkward. So that's where Koi were able to pounce on their opponents. But the question is, can Koi actually have the map pool depth and the in-game flexibility to deal with a team like w7m?
I actually fancy them tonight. I actually do.
Really?
Tonight?
But why?
Sorry.
Tonight, EU time.
It's tonight somewhere.
Why?
Well, first of all, I just think it is just the gut feeling in me. This always seems to happen the last day. Sometimes, you know, the leaders, which is w7m, sometimes they let it slip, and then someone else can open the door and they're straight in. I think Koi have a lot to prove today. I don't think we've seen the best of Koi throughout this event. I think they've been pretty lackluster, a little bit stage free where, you know, the head goes down and the siege isn't the greatest. It turns into this very scrappy play style, and that either goes, you know, hit or miss sometimes. But look at Koi on the bounce. They lose that opening game and they have not dropped the map since. So you have to look at them in that regard, and they're going to be feeling confident. Yes, I know SSG, it wasn't the greatest against them. I know it was a very tight game, and especially in terms of border, and we almost had a Claymore incident in that, but they'll still be happy that they're getting the wins, they're getting the points, and I just think they'll go at it today. I just do. I think they're up for it.
This group's really difficult to call because obviously Elevate's already gone home. They didn't get a single point. We've got SSG down there at the bottom as well. 4 points currently, still with 1 game to play today. So there's got to become a point where you start thinking, in the context of this group, does Koi deserve that top seed? Because w7m, I don't think they're going to take the foot off the gas today, because that top seed isn't actually confirmed for them. They're currently sat on 11, Koi are currently sat on 9, so this really means everything for Koi. If they get a good win here, if they get a good 4 points, they are going to leapfrog, and obviously there's no way of w7m to catch them after that. And even then, w7m have to be a little bit concerned about what G2 look to do. So w7m could actually tumble here inside of this group, which obviously they do not want to do at all.
And that's why both of these games are so important, because they tie into one another, and a slip up in one can have a major impact on the other, etc., etc. Though our map veto for the series will be, as you'll see in just a second, as Koi have gotten together. You see Mipi leading in the center, getting them ready for their match. 4 bans, first Cafe Bank, Chalet, and Theme Park eliminated. Skyscraper is our first pick, and that's for Koi. They start off on the attacking side. Border is our second. Okay, between 2 squads like this, I can't wait to see the explosion on it. Attacking starting side for w7m. That was okay. Koi picked defense start on Border. Oh, I'm curious about that. And then Clubhouse is our decider, which was set by w7m banning Oregon. Demolat, your thoughts on the bans overall?
Skyscraper for Koi. I think it's one that they've actually wanted to play throughout this competition. They haven't went for the ban at any points. It's been the teams banning against them. So having Skyscraper in there, I think they're ready for it. I think they've got something prepared. Not a map that really strikes us in terms of not just W7, but Brazil as general. Skyscraper isn't a map that really strikes me as if, oh yeah, that's Brazil all over.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? You sort of look at the maps and you think, okay, we know that w7m have got a very good map pool. We know that they can play every single map. We know that Koi have got a very good map pool. Then you look into the minutiae of it and you look into the preferences. Skyscraper is a top preference map here for Koi, and it's not necessarily a top preference map for w7m. It doesn't mean that they're not very good at it. It just means that they don't play it all too often. So it could be something that they've kind of been forced into a little bit here. The Border pick as well. Starting defense.
That's hell in a cell for Border and both of these teams.
Yeah,
I love this map.
Be sick.
The defense start on Border is a little bit strange.
That's a question, yeah.
Because both of these teams can play aggressive. Both of these teams can play very quick siege off the back of information or off the back of small opportunities. And then I believe this is going to go all the way. You just take all of the pace out of it and you get into one of the tensest clubhouses we're probably going to see.
Yep.
It's just the Skyscraper is probably the only thing that I would say gives maybe Koi the edge, because again, I think Border is going to be neutral ground. But Skyscraper, I'm going to give the slight edge to Koi.
Look, for people that are Bob Ross enjoyers, the conversation is usually what's the cabin chance? So what is the Clubhouse chance in this case?
That we see Clubhouse?
Yes.
I would say pretty high.
Percentage?
I'd say 80%.
I agree.
I'd give that a solid 80%, Milosh.
Demo?
I think it's going to be 2-0, like either way.
One way or the other.
I don't think there's going to be a 2-1. One team will 2-0 somebody. I don't know which one it's going to be, though.
But why would that happen then, in your opinion?
Well, I think if w7m, they get the Skyscraper, I think that Koi, the heads are going to dip, losing the map that obviously they wanted to get in for a while. That's going to probably upset them a bit and maybe rattle it going into border. If Koi, if they get the Skyscraper, I think the momentum will just carry them into it.
Energy's also been a little bit of a problem for Koi as well. We've seen that visibly in the team when we get a look at the player cams. And if a round doesn't go their way, there's a little bit of a dip. It can be something that you start to worry about. Is that affecting? It
happened against G2, yeah. We've seen it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. We are ready then to get into game W7M versus Koi, and at the same time, SSG v G2. We're going to toss this to our casters. It's the oh so beautiful Hap and M waiting on the other side. Enjoy.
Thank you very much, Milosh. Welcome to the casting desk. This is the desk. And we've got a screamer of a series coming up between Koi and W7M.
How do they build that synergy?
I don't know.
Insane.
Hi.
Hello.
You wanted to try what they...
I'm actually Hap. This is actually Emmy.
Yeah, I know that's Hap. That was Milosh. It was Milosh.
It was Milosh.
You didn't lie about that bit.
That was true.
Yeah,
that was the match. There's also nothing lied about W7M up against Koi.
Yeah, that's all a real.
I'm actually tired now.
That was way tougher.
Way too much energy.
They thought it would be. How do they? To be fair, that was their second attempt as well.
Yeah, it was their second attempt. So
yeah.
You know, we have a day off afterwards, and then we can come back stronger the next time we.
I mean, we have so many more opportunities.
Very true. We have a lot more days to go.
Yeah. So it's what it is.
Don't worry, we will be.
It's what it is, and what we have here. I agree with the desk. I think this is going to be a high-impact game. You kind of want it to be a long series. There's that part of you that's like, give us 3 maps. Give us, like, if there was any of the games you sort of sitting around of teams hitting heads, 2 of the top teams of their group, 2. What's it? What?
I don't know what he said.
Talking about male seahorses and babies. They do. Clue. That is correct. There's Biggie T.
Yeah, just looking in the camera,
looking at you,
trying to win all the hearts. Hello, Big T. I'm such a big fan. Just keeps looking at it.
I mean, the Dutch, as a people, you've got a few superstar athletes. Obviously, Verstappen.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Hurlings, Biggie T.
Big T's one of them, indeed.
Yeah.
They're getting ready. In the meantime, we have W7M going for a bit of a huddle. Now, Skyscraper, let's pull up.
Break it down for me.
Some stuff out here.
Yeah, give me the good stuff.
Let's see.
Only the good stuff, though.
Now, if we're looking at the overall tournament, which is what we will be doing first, because neither of these teams have played it yet over this tournament, so there's nothing really we can get into to that extent. Overall, 59% defensive win rate. The true dip is coming in Kitchen Barbecue at 47 and 17 plays. T Karaoke, almost 70% win rate for the defenders. So you can expect to see us go to set sites, well, as often as we can, probably 4. Master and Bathroom, it's only been played 5 times, but also has a 60% win rate. So that offsite seems to be starting to work more and more in teams their favor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing about what this best of 3 groups, we sort of highlighted it before, is when you get best of 1 groups, you get a small pool of maps. It's super rare to have the full test of maps. And then obviously as the tournament develops, usually and theoretically, and it's not always the case, but the teams that survive in the best of 3 Thunderdome longer are the ones that have the wider map pools, the ones that are sturdier, the ones that are more comfortable. I love that we've had best of 3 from groups, because what it's forced is teams that are kind of confident on maps to bring teams that they think are less confident, and because of that, we've had a lot more play of things like Skyscraper.
We have.
Like, Theme has been so present.
After the first day, we basically had every single map already played.
Yeah.
Right? So it's good to see. And of course, it favors some more than others. Teams like Latam, they have Copa Elite 6. They know that they need to have a bigger map pool. Whereas APAC, they only play 7 best of 1s to qualify for Major. They are, slightly hindered by the best of 3. That's why they're all, potentially knocked out at this point already as well. So Either way, it is Koi up against w7m, basically for the win of the group, for the bye into that first round. Basically, you become top 12 already, if my calculations are not mistaken. And the first ban comes in, and it's going to be Yana removed by w7m. And Scrying says there's going to be no mercy.
Hey, I just love you, bro. No mercy. Hey, fair enough. I mean, this is a showdown. You want a showdown. Yana gone. First of all, Doc will be quick to follow up, and w7m with the OK.
He's not too bothered about that one.
Or he is very bothered.
Or very. Now the Rato coming in instead of Rasho, I think. Mira as well to be removed. Of course, Mira is one of those architects. It is a word that many of you might have been hearing lately, especially, of course, due to the fact that Azami is such a prevalent kind of operator right now. And Azami is one of those architects basically doing the same as what Mira did when she first entered the lineup, right? Like, of the Rainbow Six. Then there was no bans, however, so Mira was allowed to just reign free. But still, seeing a ban every now and then, even with Azami on the board, who is left open, so we will see that architecture coming through. And as we get going, it is going to be Karaoke T. You mentioned it before. That is going to be that, you know, that 70 almost % win rate coming in. So just bringing the security first, getting as many rounds as quickly as you possibly can.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
All right. Give me a game. Give me a show. Give me something fighty. Give me something feisty all the way. Because, all right, these two teams, they're sort of sitting at the top. The game that's going on the other stream, G2 versus SSG, there's the chance there that G2 might be able to leapfrog, depending on the results of this, and get themselves into the top 2. It's not a huge chance, but there's a chance. SSG, they can only sort of find themselves level. They will not be able to get themselves into the top 2, I believe.
No, but they can find themselves in 3rd place if they win from G2 based on head-to-head, of course. So
yep.
They need to get that 2-0 victory to get themselves out of that lower bracket. So that means if G2 pick up any map on the other stream, that dream is over as well. And of course, it will be coming down to like a mini league system if G2 would be to win this and then Koi win this in a 2-1 fashion, because then we would have all teams equalized here. So that's some of the stakes. As Herds, he's ready to go for a bit of a spawn peek. He's waiting outside of the shrine window, looking to see if anybody moves up, looking, well, to try and find out if anybody's moving, but instead he gets spotted. Isn't able to find anybody, barricades that window up again. He's not going to be sticking around too long. His key's right below where Koi is actually going to be pushing from. It's going to be the house area, but the top floor, so Exhibition is falling first. Spoid is on the entry here. Drone's right ahead of him. Have they known? Have they seen the player that is near? Well, first of all, Drum that is looking to go for a bit of a swing, but also near VIP.
Holding off, expecting somebody to be a little bit adventurous here as the air jabs get themselves locked in. Kanto, he's just making sure the top of the house stairs stays firmly in the hands of, well, not the house. They're seeing if they can try and swindle and crack and cross their way. Herds, here's the slow ebb of it, but as long as the walls still stand next to him, he's safe. They start to find themselves under a bit of pressure, then suddenly he might be in a bit of a dangerous position. There's only really the hard breach in, 2 pockets. They have a lot that they can work with here for the push, Koi. With the Thermite going over to the opposite end and starting to put the pressure, the Azami's going to buy themselves just a little bit of wiggle room onto Geisha.
Extra Thermite coming through. Keeper Bearers are being deployed as they are being taken down as well, but just making quick work of them, just burning through that piece of utility. Another one coming through, but you know, that means that 3 Keeper Bearers have been taken out. And what have they gained? Well, about like 10 seconds. Nothing really more than that. Herds is holding a better position, though. He's on the top of Shrine near Dragon. Spoit actually gets that first kill, though, and that means that as Kanto takes down Herds, the complete east side has fallen.
Yeah, that was just a sudden spike through past Drum. They hit the first engagement. Spoit's now tucked here and he can wait for a bit of support, but it's such a dangerous corridor of land. Sees a sliver and they're actually able to get a hard wall put up on the back of Gold whilst the pressure's coming across quite close, but with JV92 having a bit of a watch down, Spoit gets caught. A rotation from underneath is coming through here from Koi. They're getting themselves able to do this. The pinch onto the player inside the side of Geisha. Deepek does get Julio in the meantime. They still have the yellow pings on the arena. He's just going to slip themselves slightly further away. JV has taken a lot of damage from the first grenade. You look at Kanto, you look at Deepek. The guns that they have, it just takes a clip. Oh, well, Less than that for them.
Yeah, just that one bullet coming through from Deepak there leaves it only up to Phobes in that 1v4 situation. But you mentioned it, a lot of them are low on HP. The diffuser is needing to be planted in the next 10 seconds, so Phobes has a good opportunity to go for a clutch here, but Leon actually locks him out before carrying the diffuser. Round 1 going to Koi.
All right, first round Koi and a bit of pace there. Skyscraper attacks aren't easy. Not many teams in the world are generally comfortable attacking Sky. It's, even with a team like Koi, who is sort of in that echelon, that small amount of teams that are like, yeah, we can attack this map. It's still 10 seconds left. It's still 15 seconds left when you're trying to put the pressure onto the site itself. There's a lot of rooms, a lot of structure, a lot of individual boxes you sort of have to tick and clear to get yourself a true idea. You can sort of see it from the, these deeper angles of just how much of it is, here's a rectangle with another rectangle, another 6 rectangles attached to it.
I mean, as mentioned before, the side that we've just previously seen, Karaoke T, out of the 34 times split, 70% of it went towards the defense. So Koi picking up that first round it's absolutely massive for them, especially if they can repeat that later on. Of course, we are headed towards exhibition now. It's w7m deciding to not go for a run-it-back strategy, looking to change it up a little bit. And as the shields have been set up, we saw a east to west clear from Koi. The other round probably will turn into a west to east. First was ready for the spawn peak, but Spoit was more ready.
Yeah, Spoit, sharp as ever. 2 abilities to get the entry, 2 rounds in a row, and Koi have come into this swinging. They're making sure that w7m puts some respect on the gun game because they know that at some point w7m will warm into it as well. Push the advantage, put the pressure on, make the statements early, and then start this. The collapse and clear over the top, forcing the play from the opposite end. You'll see a lot of teams do this. If you're trying to get your way across exhibition, you start your side on Geisha, and vice versa. Oh, there's another one. Spoit, he is on a tear.
w7m is being picked apart slowly but steadily in the last round, but also this round. A minute has passed, 2 players are lost, and again, a bit of a flank attempt, JV92, but he's been spotted out by the drone, so is he going to stick around? Well, Spoit is definitely putting up some pressure instantly. Oh, another player came in from gold. It's Keys that gets a double kill, brings it back, goes for the third before he gets punished by Leon Getz. He does not land a double, however, and that means that the diffuser now is down on the ground. JV92 is able to fall back, and the remaining 2 members of Koi need to recover it, and then go towards the side, try and actually make that plan happen.
Holding themselves off for a moment, 2 versus 2. They've done very well to buy themselves some time back into this after losing the early 2 engagements. With so much time, that's definitely something Koi can use to their advantage. They have a little bit of intel left, they have a little bit of utility left, and they're going to see if they can force some space, keep themselves at a bit of arm's length, at the same time to keep barricades and a C4. And, well, Julio and JV92, 2 of the most experienced sort of players in terms of one finding fights and the other one controlling them. It is a dangerous approach here that Koi have to make against some of the experience of w7m. The army is shown holding up on one side. They're going to pull themselves a bit back. They're going to play a bit of this time game, sort of say, well, we're here. And as I said, the room-to-room and box-to-box checking makes this a very awkward approach. There's so many corners to check.
And they spotted out both the players actually with that drone that just moved through. Deepak's getting a next drone in position. Turret's clear. Jack and Dragon also going to be clear. Fell back from that. Now they need to actually find out where the Izami is located. There you go, that's a spot coming through, that's one. Where's the second player? Now potentially Deepak holding on to that, trying to go for a bit of a hunt as the E1D comes through to try to push VIP to at least turn this into a 1v1 situation.
The smokes cover a bit of the motion. There's one of those keeper barricades buying themselves time. We talked about how it wasn't precious before. This time it sure is. 2 of them find the first fight. They're driving their way to the back. They're going to hold off, see if they can get them as they go for the plant itself. If we talk experience, Julio has a lot of it. He tucks himself round. He's on the back. Deepak with the pre-fire. They've got to just hold the plant, get the cover. Julio's in the 1 versus 1. He rotates round the opposite way, and it's the C4!
He had that C4, he knew that was the best way to take him down. Throw it over, put yourself at minimal risk. And Deepak, whilst he was chasing, just like moments off every single time on reaching him, like he checked through the rotation, he just snuck by. He rotates through, just went through the doorway. So Julio just escaping with his life twice there. Good clutch coming through.
There have been so many examples throughout this tournament of Julio's experience. And that's just the perfect time. Obviously, you know, there's a little bit of luck that comes into your favor. There's a little bit of the wind going into your sails. But the motions there, keeping the C4, knowing when he needs to pop. It was great work from the Azami, buying as much time at the top of house stairs as they did. But in that situation there, as you said, they were always one step ahead of the motions. The C4 went one way, they went the other. They knew that they didn't have to overreach and overstretch, and it clutched them out that round.
It definitely did. I do have to say, though, I like the clear from Koi onto the VIP. Just the timing going on and the room clearing, like, it just came right out of like a CQB kind of game. We clear out, like an old Rainbow Six game, if you would go at it. But it wasn't enough. Just the one kill coming through, and you know, they had the opportunity to actually win there if they were half a second faster, but rounds pass, we move on. So headed back towards Karaoke and T. Koi, how are you going to be approaching this? It seems like some of them will be going down from below, possibly. Or just on Repel and Overwatch.
Drone is ready to go.
As they move themselves across. It's not going to be an east to west clear this time. This one looks more direct. You see Spoiled already set up outside of a window, Crying, doing the exact same thing. I think they want to be pushing up the black stairs there, isolate that player, and hit it from Geisha at the same time.
I was gonna say, those going outside Dragon window, they're sort of saying, well, we spent a while doing the push on the opposite end. There's also a bit of sort of resilience on Geisha window. They've angled themselves up here, w7m. I think it might be JV92 is just sort of watching and waiting for somebody to come along and try and get the wall opened. But because the push is coming from underneath and elsewhere, he's above you, Kanto. He's above you right now. And that's that sort of thing. w7m, what point do you think they'll sort of go, it's not the same push, it's a different approach. We need to slightly reposition. You can see they've moved themselves into terrace now. They've got the player on the top of black stairs that's sort of watching down it. The Aruni's moved slightly further away to get some cover here. The Geisha wall's being popped open, and there's JV92 popping off Leon.
First entry kill for w7m. Now Keys coming back as well. He was always in the house area, knew that it was not going to be coming from that side, and you know, made that call. The entry comes through. The diffuser actually dropped outside with a minute 10 left on the clock, and you know, Sky's not an easy map to navigate. That is going to be taking you 20 to 30 seconds to recover that diffuser and get back into the fight. So they need to be quick with this. Grenades coming in from below. He's not going to be finding anybody for now. And Koi still left guessing, still left, trying to make an impact happen.
Well, how much is your dedication here? Because sooner or later it's going to turn into a bit of a brawl onside the site. They're still looking for the fight above as well. JV92 has got himself tucked. There's a bit of a barricade support from the Keebers. They've still got a lot of time, and he's actually going to go fishing and hunting for the fight. He thinks he might be able to cut them off at the pass, but Deepak has a DMR. A bit locked down, and KZ has a Pokeball to catch him. Gets that rebuilt behind the back of it. That puts the kit out of reach. That puts Crying, and Spoiled at the same time, gone Kanto. Got to clutch it all here. Gets the first fight, but from above him, w7m pull ahead.
Well played by w7m. They realized the push was not going to be the same very early on due to the fact that they had a player in the house area, so there was no pressure coming down there. You know something else is up. Check your cameras. Oh, bottom floor cams are suddenly gone. That's surprising. It's going to be Koi that comes up from there. Diffuser dropped twice. It basically runs you out of time at that point. And Koi, they lose out on Karaoke the second time around.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
But of course, you don't want to be running the same attack twice. Yes, it worked the first time, but it came down to 10 seconds. Do you want to go for it another time? Well, clearly the answer was no. And rightfully so. Change of pace, though. We are headed towards the barbecue and kitchen area.
The hungriest site.
The hungriest site in
all of Siege.
Because you got barbecue, you know, one bomb side. Then you have
kitchen is the other.
Kitchen is the other, but we're like right next to barbecue. You also have the sushi area.
It's just
and the restaurant right next to it.
I didn't have breakfast this morning.
And next to the kitchen, we have the pantry with all the nice little, you know, tomato and paprika supplies.
Look at the fresh.
The little bar out of there.
It's just a bag of green.
I think it's a bag of beans or something. I don't know.
Ah, yes. A bean bag.
No, so it's literally the hungriest side.
Yeah.
And sight of All in Rainbow Six.
Are they the hungriest players?
Well,
in Rainbow
that's
Six,
what
though?
we're waiting for.
That's what we're waiting for, and Crying's going quite direct. Puts the pressure onto the bathroom window. Nobody's in that position to try and swing back. As I said before in the past round, we had w7m set up a little bit, and there's a little bit, but he's somehow able to get Spoit before he gets caught out. 3 players, and Spoit was just sort of crouched, suffering in front of a door there for a second, and the spray came through first. They knew he was rotating that one. That's a bit of a misplay there, and a bit of a missed moment from Koi, but at least they were able to get a body back.
Well, at least Deepak is quite sharp in his replies, though. You saw it in the last round when he was attacking the geisha window, now with a quick response as well, even though, you know, they should have had the pickup before the kill came through, but it's always good to see one of your support players stepping up like that. Grenades coming through. It's going to be clearing out some of the utility, also now aware of the fact that close to them is going to be cleared. Still a bit of being afraid though that they might be coming up from the shrine area. I think they want to be opening up the gold wall. That's why Deepak is currently located where he is. See if they might be able to get inside and go for, you know, quick plants in a bit of a safe area. Now also Koi very afraid of the fact that someone might be right behind them, so there is a bit of lack of information on their side.
They have themselves putting a bit of pressure here on the second story. Leon's not quite sure where the push is, but there's a rotate that's come around, watching up towards the terrace, watching towards that back wall, and they're hoping to maybe get a catch. No, they pull away from Pantry as the pressure comes onto Gold. It forces a swing. And as Deepak gets himself out of there, the kill drops on the door itself. Kanto can find Volps. They've got this pressure. Hertz has moved up to Black. He's watching to make sure nobody just swings in on the back end behind the gate. But look at this, slow shoulder peeks, jiggles. They know that this is a gun game.
It is. The Serial Laser Gate gets wasted. Now 2 members of Koi starting to move in. Hertz, you need to be quicker on the trigger here. That's going to be the shoulder peek and instantly falls back. He knows he cannot win that.
Oh, Julio underneath as well. Sorry, I just saw that. He was watching up from a hole at first for a very long time. The slip comes by. Kanto gets hurt. In the meantime, Julio, I don't think Juiced saw the rappel down.
I don't think so. Definitely heard it though. So he's aware of the fact that someone went down. Changing position. That's the Aruni spotted out behind the bar now. There's one player located. The other one is in the bathroom. Plant's already going down though. 45 seconds soon to be on the clock. JV92 pushing. He's going to be coming around the corner. He's trying to go for a wallbang, but he doesn't quite hit it. He does! But the diffuser goes down just beforehand.
Could not have been closer here, but now it's a 2 versus 3. The question is time. They've got to see if they can try and retake this. He's going to go for the long arm. He might see if he can just be in a distance. There on the other side is Soft. JV92 cannot quite get away with it. Takes the man on the drop, goes back to pick it up, but there's Kanto filling in the dots, and Julio over the top cannot find the fight, and Kanto claims it.
Well done by Koi. They, you know, beeline themselves to the objective after they had the top floor under control. This shows you why you need that top floor, because it's so much easier to hold onto a diffuser that way than we have to do it horizontally. Bit of a missed call coming through on w7m. You saw the ping on the initial spot that JV92 started spraying. He then realized, oh, it is going to be closer. Actually hit the shot, but if he had that information earlier, that plan never would have gone down.
Yep.
And that would have been potentially a w7m round, because what do you do from there on? Well, you start dropping, but you're in a disadvantage when you do start dropping through hatches. But Koi to hang on. 2-2. Keeping it an even game.
Yeah, if we talk about the windfalls of Siege, there's definitely one that I think works there into the favor of Koi. They had themselves in a dangerous situation if that kit was out of their hands. But 2-2 to a piece. The battle rages ever on. And we're generally getting quite a lot of people activated in this game, but in strange ways. Obviously, Hertz is the only one that hasn't been able to find blood. A couple of players like JV92 and like Kanto stepping up quite big. It's a very hard to gauge game because I suppose if you're looking at these two teams, you're sort of propositioning big names against each other. You want to see Julio hitting heads with Leon. You want to see KZ hitting heads with Spoit, and here, the shape of that on the shape of Skyscraper is making for a bit of an interesting taste.
Talking about food again?
I'm just really hungry.
If you don't have breakfast?
No.
Maybe shoot.
I had to make
no?
it all the time.
Oh, yeah, true. Lucky I could go in an hour later.
Yep.
Blessed. Either way, quick opening towards Geisha. Shows you that they want to be approaching this from the west. Or at least clear out whatever is out here. Just gives you a lot more ease of mind when, you know, everything behind you is going to be clear when you start pushing through. There's nothing worse than when you start pushing in from Dragon, VIP, and, you know, there's still someone right behind you. Suddenly you find yourself in a sandwich with w7m players. A lot of barricades have been put up by w7m. They're really trying to slow down Koi as much as they can.
They're making things noisy as well, and what we're going to have to see here is a little bit of hammer and anvil, and there's the hammer, but there's nobody behind it apart from another soft.
I see gold.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame here. They've hit a brick wall, and then they've hit 50 soft walls, and they've got to try and go through them step by step by step. Remember, one of the problems last time we were here was time. It came down to the 2 versus 2. They're sort of banking on that.
He hasn't been droned. Keys hasn't been droned. That's what
Oh, no! Gets one, can't get the second. The E1D comes out as a bit of a saving grace. The drone's going to get themselves in the position. They know there's nowhere he can go but back and forth. So how do they get the close down? They can't get it that way. Spoit gets caught out. And KZ gets his own escape. Will he get a third for the trouble? There it is! And he has just retaken the whole end of this building. One separates him from an ace, and I said it before. Maybe it's hard to gauge just what name is going to pop off.
Go for it. Oh!
But he doesn't quite get the ace. But you can see JV92 was happy to let him try first.
You know, yeah, that's exactly it. They knew where he was. They went for the run out. And that's what I said. I saw the drone roll through, and with all these barricades, you know, you're like, oh, there's surely no one here anymore. And they didn't drone gold. And I was like, did they see gold? And then they started walking in, not paying attention to it. I'm like, they didn't see gold. And Keys, he just cleans them up. He did exactly what he needed to do there. Allowing himself and w7m to take the lead off this half. And they secured themselves at least a 3-3, but they have the opportunity to take this with a 4-2 as well, as they add back to karaoke, which they have won quite easily on the second attempt of Rogue's attack.
Bit of a whoops.
It's a big whoops. It's drones like this shouldn't happen, especially if you're going from a west to east clear. You check these corners. You were with 5 people, you have 2 or 3 people droning. You should be able to check these corners, especially gold. It's such a default height spot, you can almost say.
5 seconds.
Okay, wow. I don't want to give spoilers towards the other stream. Oh. I was supposed to give spoilers towards this round. No, can't quite get anybody that early. I don't think anyone can get up there that early. Maybe it's just looking for drones. But for what we've had back and forth on this stream, I think the other one might have been the exact opposite.
Yeah.
We may have had the second 7-0 in this tournament.
It might have been...
We won't say who.
We won't say who.
But I'm sure you'll know.
If you've been watching, you know. And
you've
that
been knowing, you'll watch.
Really spices up the fight for first.
It
like that.
Definitely does. It obviously adds the heat and the tension. We'll probably get their results sooner. We'll get the result of what Spoit's doing. Nothing this round. KZ is able to finalize 5 kills from the 1 death from the previous round, but also gets traded out quite quick there. Leon is able to get the back end, and this is the thing that I tried to make a point of before, is you never really know who's going to be getting an engagement on this map. It's been so sort of malleable from both teams. Who wants to step in, hurts and cry, and they're able to, again, find different people and different engagements at exactly the same second. It is 10 gunners, and all of them are trying to find a fight with everybody.
That's the thing, like Skyscraper, first of all, you're like trying to fight yourself away inside. Like, there's so many windows, you're just on small balconies, especially when attacking that second floor, that you're almost always going to find yourself in an engagement if you try to get in. And then when you get inside the building, due to all these boxes you've been talking about, it's so easy for defenders to just fall back and take engagements and then fall back another box. And it's basically always just fighting yourself through. There is no safe space. There's no free ground being given away by anybody here. This drum is being held, so is Shrine. That sets up a line of sight. Kanto, no clue Hertz was there. Not even sure if he ran out with like an air jab in his hand wanting to fire that one off, but turns it back into a 2-on-2 situation now.
It's really not the first time we're seeing w7m taken by surprise, but will Koi do the same? I think they heard a little bit there, but the swing round, and I don't think they heard it close enough. Leon's able to get a surprise strike right back, and Hertz, he's a little bit isolated. Leon has the kit. What are you going to do? He thought Rotating there for a second. Instead, he's going to check the drones. And, ooh, what does this operator do very well? Get underneath! Not like that, though. Not the traditional manner. 30 seconds. They have plenty of time. Crying. He's going to get the kid. He's going to get himself formulated what's in the pockets of Herd's magical glasses. So you get on the table. It's how you do this. Instead, he comes up round, goes for the wallbang. He's on the other side of the chassis, sees the edge, Crying gets the kick, cannot get off the table. And Herd's able to clutch out that round for the 4-2 half.
Somehow was able to get away with it here, but I'm not sure if Crying actually had an idea that he's coming from the back. Pushing through right away. Good clutch coming through, and that's the beauty of Solace. Like, also, like, well read. It's like, okay, he's going to be planting on the table. He already knew that because he was rotating towards the staircase. Like, in case they do, we can fight this way instead. So, like to see that little bit of, well, knowledge as well from the Solace player.
I do wonder, you know, what the calls were. Obviously, we've had such a good insight into that at that moment because you're up against the Solace. You assume you know what the Solace is going to do. The response is to get up on the table. So he obviously had the call. There's a Solace underneath. Got into that position. The impact came against it. You're generally just hearing that behind you, going for the plant. There's a million things on.
Yeah.
It's very understandable and likely that they said, well, they're underneath, and he thought he could get himself repositioned. I think it's why he was looking towards black as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. It's like the impact came in behind him, the shots as well, and he was looking black whilst trying to get off instead of, you know,
you never know. You never know. What
maybe it's like, oh, maybe he's rotating already. I just need to get off this table quickly, or just anything like that. You never know what the information is that's currently going around in the team. We have the all-seeing eye. We know exactly what's going on, but of course, doesn't go for the players. They rely on their own drones and information. Now, there's another spawn peek attempt, I believe, to come out, but this time it is from Leon. He's opened up. Okay, show on. Might allow it for someone else who's going to be waiting for a repel sound. Seems like it's going to be deeper. This allows you to just lean out, not be spotted by the map automatically. Just try and go for a cheap early kill. Because it doesn't really cost you anything. You just heard the repel, he's going to be locking it off. Doesn't want to stick around.
Now, I said quite early on, there's only a few teams in the world that are very comfortable attacking this map. Everyone should be good at attacking, and I guess we'll get the taste of w7m because they've done a very good job on the defense. It's been a couple of clutch rounds, one to time and one to there, and you know, you sort of have this continual thing, but now the onus and the pressure of time is on them. Koi, they can try and set this up. There seems to be a direct line coming. There's pressure underneath as well, a slow creep, the break. Leon, he's sort of playing that from the drum swing. Hertz is underneath with grenades. The similar approach we saw from Koi before, we're getting here from w7m. Will they just try and scream up black?
They might try so. And the main stairs possibly as well at the very same time. And all that's holding them back is going to be a proximity alarm right now. There's no actual players out there. I believe there's only 2 or 3 near the actual site. The rest is all, you know, gone off towards east, gone off towards the house area, and that means that if w7m is very decisive with the push that seems to be coming in right now, they might catch them all rotating back in.
That's it, and you can see how far away Koi are from the site and the hole. They're inside. Keys, he's got himself the first. He's inside, looking towards a singing sultry song, but Deepak wants to change the record. Karaoke is back to his, Crying. He stepped himself up. Leon's able to step it down. Spoit, he's looking to see if he can just limit anyone coming in via drum, and with a slightly misbounced grenade against nobody's feet, nobody else is caught. They went for something short, sharp, and snappy, and Koi was just able to stretch it out into a longer engagement so they can get themselves back in position. Julio swings in on the far end. Hertz, he's trying to get himself tucked in. Here's a lot of close audio, hoping the shoulder peaks come his way, but everything seems to be under huge amounts of Koi pressure.
Just escaped the C4 as well there as he was falling back down the staircase. Volps down the restaurant area. Just missed out on a fight with Leon Gids here. He's holding off. He's trying to go for an attempt too, but still here's someone walking right above him. There's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't have any grenades left, so he's going to require some assistance, but also no E1D, so Volps really will have to do with just providing covering fire with the Vector. And as they move in, they now need to isolate these players, but Crossfire's already there and 10 seconds left on the clock.
Oh, just swung, just picked up, one apiece, and one more for Crying. 3.
Good hold, boys. Yeah, buddy. Get me a warden, bro.
Get him on Warden.
Just wants to play Warden.
Who doesn't?
The magical glasses.
I'm not gonna stick with Capgun, honestly. Just to annoy them.
Yeah, fuck it, dude.
So, you know, normally people might be like, okay, so pro play, Six Invitational, surely there's like strat books, and they'll be like, go for strat A, B on exhibition, and then
Pascal and Leon.
Exhibition.
Ryan and Leon.
I'm gonna play Capcom just to annoy them.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, just do it. So whatever.
I mean, made you winners, and you know, and a good presence and a very strong, steady team. Yesterday we actually bumped into a couple of Rogue's team. Leon, Sathus, Tristan, and Bernadette.
Yep.
Some of the behind this one. And they brought a squeaky toy.
Oh, yeah. They haven't used it yet.
No.
They said they were going to use it to censor themselves.
We'll see if that happens. They might not be allowed. Maybe they're not allowed.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, obviously.
3 Capcom traps.
Oh, look at this as a lineup.
Attacker's objective is to
Look at that with an Amaru shotgun. Okay, what is going on here? Amaru shotgun sends Candelas, pace, baby.
Yeah, but how are they going to... they're not going to be opening the wall, so this is almost guaranteed having to be either the window jump in and just go for it.
Yeah.
Back at Candelas.
Oh, this is a smash and grab if I've ever seen it. This is them breaking their way in. They're going to see if they can try and get locked in. There's also hatches bottom to top as well.
Yes.
Remember that. The corner hatch inside, just there on the southeast. And we've seen w7m play smoke plants behind that. The trick is, though, how do you cover it with the wall closed?
If they do use the window jump in, though, the double door on the next of it has 3 Capcom traps on it. So there could be a very quick end of the diffuser carry if they would decide to go that way.
Yes. I mean, if you've got an Amaru, the point is there can be a very quick end.
Yeah.
For or against. We hear the first Candelas pop off. JV92 is going to see if he can try and get a bit of a slow swing. With the player underneath, it's going to be awkward. You've got to win that first fight, and that'll probably make the statement of who's there, especially when you've got a shotgun. Leon, though. Oh, I was going to say Leon. It's Kanto. Even gets the engagement. Leon just suffered at exactly the same time, to be honest. But for the course, this game is everybody fighting everybody. They've lost Sens. They've lost a lot of their coverage. They still have the pocket smokes, the Candelas, obviously, and some flashes. However, Sens is a huge dictator of eye lines.
Is Vulps now going out alone with the diffuser from Geisha?
No,
okay, Herds is
at
on the other
least
side.
have Herds.
I was going to say, because he rotated out quickly, there's someone else joining in. So they've changed the plan here. They're not going to be going for the quick execute they wanted to go for. Going to be trying to go for a bit of a default take now, but Klein is waiting in that corner.
Yeah, and Spoit on the opposite end. Leon offering some support. They're just sort of saying, look, we're here. You're not going to get any further. There's the swing. Spoit gets the header one, gets the connection with the next. And well, suddenly it's just JV92 alone with the sound of their own Candelas. They went for a quick strategy, hit the question of how do we get in, hit Kanto Raketti, and then had to unfortunately hit the entire rest of the site. 40 seconds for players to try and bite their way through. And they're going for the big rotate round to the back end. There's been slight movements here.
It's kind of what happened, right? Like, they were trying to set themselves up, and they lost Sense. Sense, of course, being a big part by throwing up the light screens, which make it basically impossible to see through. You have to use explosives to get rid of them. Spoit gets that final kill. Happy about it. 4-4. Equalize the score. They're back into that game instantly. And not really been under any massive pressure yet, so... especially this round, it's just w7m scrambling, trying to see if they could get anything back together, but failing to do so. But I doubt we're going to see another kind of approach like that from w7m. I think they'll go more default now.
All right, as soon as we sort of see this happening, you go, when's the timeout going to be called?
Yeah.
You find yourself at this 4 apiece. w7m, they've lost obviously 2 attacks in a row. It was... both of them, I think, hitting the brick wall. And this is what you sort of mean by it's awkward to attack Skyscraper. Because it's still technically being pieced together. There's a lot that can be pushed and pressured and retaken. There's a lot of awkward shapes and motions towards it. And it's hard. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's impossible to have a conversation, but when you have 45 seconds, a minute to talk about something and try and reevaluate everything,
yeah,
it's often always quoted as it being a lot harder for the defense because obviously you've got to make more major changes than attack, which can sort of go, look, this is where things are going wrong. But at the same time, I think the structure of Skyscraper makes it very awkward because it's hard to piece together
Where exactly it breaks
down attacking Skyscraper.
Small peek attempt. It's going to be abandoned, reattempted, and again abandoned. But Deepak gets it on the other side. So, you know, they still get the spawn peek kill there. See some smiles, some smirks. Just the confidence is getting back into Koi here. And that's the most dangerous Koi you'll ever see. Once they're feeling good, they're having fun, and they're confident. There's no beating them.
Well, a quick bit of pressure is coming down Prep. They're going to see if they can try and get some of the angles here. Hurts got a long eye. Julio's not too far away with the kit. They have some smokes once again. They can play a quicker idea. They're just going to get anything around that window destroyed and then angle themselves over. If they can keep a pocket of space covered, well, that still includes killing Kanto. Tucked in on the top, and to be honest, he was tucked in underneath and was able to get the first, but it's Volp's lost. Off over on to Leon, cuts off Kanto's rotation. The direct route is now too dangerous, but ooh, that is a very unfortunate thing. That is uncancelable.
That's like probably the most infuriating thing. Like you start flying through, Hurts gets the kill on Crime, brings it back. Julio gets taken down as well. 2 on 3. w7m, still 2 members left. They are down below. Jiv92 will get one. Has to recover that diffuser. Will do so as well, but it's going to be safe to jump in. He doesn't know that.
That's it. It's been proven time and time again that this vertical hold has claimed 2 different victims on 2 different windows. And at this point, where do you find the remaining Koi players? This is maybe one of the best situations they've got themselves in here for the chance of an attack. It is the third site, w7m. They're going to see if they can swing round. Do they know about Spoit? Well, Spoit doesn't want to know about them. They're going to go for the tuck, going for the kit. He's down on the cover. They're seeing if they can try and find it, but nowhere is the response from Koi. That's able to just slip through, and you're sort of thinking in that moment, Koi, what were you looking for? Well, Hurts finds Deepak on the back end, and suddenly what seemed like Koi in a position to entirely lock that down. They still had the vertical control. They still had themselves in a point of presence on the 2 versus 2. Has turned into a very difficult situation. Spoit through a wall, gets a scrappy fight, cannot win it out. And I'm a bit curious what happened there.
What happened is, at the moment the rotation came through, IQ was being spotted out by the Prisma, so Spoit knew exactly where he was, but missed the opportunity to take the engagement, and he then decided to rotate through. Like, he went towards the balcony, towards Drum, and wasn't in a position to actually stop anything. Like, Deepak, of course, was horizontal.
They keep trying to run in, they keep trying to find that weak point in the site. They're just going to keep doing that, whilst the rest of the main push is so slow. Like, just kind of like SSG, but a little bit faster, a little bit better on that gun skill when they're on their entries. Right? And they love to rotate. When it goes wrong, they rotate. They're kind of overcomplicating it a little bit. So the biggest and best thing you can do is to just relax. Alright, boys?
Yep.
Look out for that fast entry. Once he's dead, the rest of them, they're going to take an extra 30 seconds, alright?
Alright, no worries.
Use your Michaels, use your 3, 2, 1s. Let's fucking go!
Yep. Let's focus up, boys.
Yes. Say yes, sir.
Say it.
I stand with Meepy. This is the thing. I love listening to coaches. I think we get a real good taste of what they can sort of bring and evaluate. Meepy for a long time has been known in the scene from our side of things as a huge brain, as a great idea person behind the game itself. Obviously, we came from the era we've been around a very long time. We got to see him as a player. We got to see him as a player with Leon, however many times, and even before that. And that's the sort of thing is we can talk about and reminisce. But now, new viewers who have maybe joined because they're followers of new players like Spoit, or because they're sort of coming into the scene, first of all, amazing, but second of all, it's so cool that you get to hear what we've known and sort of get to be like, this is why they do what they do behind the 5 players.
Yeah, for sure, and for a while, you know, coaches, they've always been there, they've always had the impact, but how exactly? Like, you never really got an insight to that. Like, they're always standing behind it. You know, they call tactical timeouts, but what do they exactly say? What do they do? I think for new inspiring coaches as well, I think this is like a really good way to look at it and maybe improve yourself as well. See what they talk about. Don't overcomplicate things in your tactical timeouts. Either way, Meepy was right. You get that first kill, they over-rotate. Then look for that weakness. When they find it, they commit to it. And the small rotation we had earlier is what lost Koi that round. It started off so strong for them.
Let's see if he's right on this. The first attempt, the first weakness, they have been, as we said, prodding and probing. They try and find that single weakness and put the pressure behind it. We have slight change on lineup. w7m, they're more than happy to rotate through a couple of different options. The 0 is in the pocket of Alps as well. They've got Keys putting pressure on the other side of the underside. Last time they were around the bottom of Black Stairs. This time they're going to lead in with the pressure directly towards House, towards Office and Exhibition. And Koi, they're sort of sitting, I'm going to say pretty. They're dangerously close to the fire and under a bit of stress, but not intently stressed yet. Despite slinks out, takes the head off of Herds. A quick rotate. Look at the Koi players in the top right pulling away. Do they know? They don't know. Cryan, he was there forever, and that is a huge punishment. Hey, remember what Meepy said? They love to rotate when things go wrong. Cryan was like, yeah.
Let me catch one off on that rotate as well. Now w7m is debating where are we going next. Like we need to have a plan B, and of course I believe they've already opened up Geisha, as you can see right here, so that might be what they want to go for, using these SAM cams to find out whether or not someone is in blue, in drum, sorry, blue doesn't exist here. And as they now take Geisha, ooh, shot at from the stairs. Kanta finds one as well. It's only up to Yulia now in a 1v5. The man has experience, the man is known for his skill as well and his knowledge, but the 1v5, that's a bit too much. A flawless round from Koi.
Oh, that guy got fucking shit on. Oh my god. Good fucking play, Kenta. Together.
Very graphic language there.
Yeah.
Might be worth bringing a warden.
Oh, say no more.
From the way they're playing, they had the Ying, sentence and stuff. Good try again.
It's funny.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, please, can we have this for every event?
You know what I like more is the fact that Warden, when came out, everybody was like, yeah. You know, and now it's like, we need a Warden.
Say no more.
I want it. Ejected into Cryan's veins.
What a Chad. Oh, this is amazing. Okay, 5-5. If this round obviously goes away from w7m, they might have a tournament. They might have a conversation. You find yourself knocking the precipice. For the context of how everything plays out, w7m aren't confirmed for one of the top 2 spots. If G2 get a full 4 points and Koi get a full 4 points, then both teams leapfrog w7m, who would fall down to 3rd.
Yep.
So they need to make sure that they try and not drop anything. There's obviously still results, and depending on what goes on elsewhere, if things fall apart, then it could be a different story. But they have the head-to-head for G2, so if SSG take a map, they're okay.
Yeah. But, you know, if this becomes a 2-1 and G2 wins 2-0, it comes down to round differential in the mini-league kind of thing, and it gets all messy and all calculative. And,
I thought it was head-to-head first.
Yeah, mini-league head-to-head. But if you have 3 teams tied on 12 points, and every team has beaten each other 2-1, because Koi was beaten by G2, w7m beat G2, and Koi would then beat w7m all 2-1s. So you have a tie in terms of head-to-heads that way. That's just the quick explanation. But surely Dask will be ready for it once it does happen. I mean, it's still map 1. We're not even close yet to map 3 on this side. Not sure how it's going on the other stream. Either way, as we continue, a bit of an approach towards the Geisha is on its way. Not actually reinforced the wall off this time. The wind is also soft, so the Monty will be entering from there on. Now, this is the thing. They just put up a bandit wire on the other one, but it doesn't matter, considering they left this one soft and didn't really bother with it. That means the wall still open up, so it's not really a, you know, mistake of a bandit wire there, but it doesn't really do anything. Ooh. Are they double peeking that? Kenta just snakes in and gets the kill. Like, that shouldn't work, but, you know, he gets it. Fair play. It's entry kill for Koi.
All right, now what do you do? w7m on the back foot early on. Well, they might rotate. Meepy would posturize, and they might just try and be direct and look for a loose thread. KZ's going to go a little bit over the front and face of Terrace as Volps Well, he's gone deep, drops the shield, he's baiting the attention. Cryin doesn't know which way to look. At least there's Kanto for support, but look how many players are stacking up here. Kanto cannot quite survive that long, a very narrow bridge. And they've pushed themselves pretty heftily here. Take the iron, take the might of a shield, and get this locked down. The approach breaks and batters right against the side of house here. They're slipped around with the breach open. The Monty is free to maneuver and manipulate and suffer a bit of damage there. Scrap, do they know just how close they are to the fight? They're right in front of you. He's being so delicate with the shield. Cryin and Leon get one either side. The rotate comes against it. They tried to pop it. Leon gets Volps, leaving 15 seconds and nobody to experience it.
Did Volps just jump after like, Cryin was like, I need to jump out now, the Monty's gonna be getting me, jumps over the wall. Monty's like, you know what, I'll follow. I'll try and come and get you as well. The 6-5 Koi leading match point as well.
Let's go barbecue again, guys. Remember, let's just take a chill pill here. Let's take it a bit slower.
I can put on side as well if you want. What?
No, we never get the answer. Just a what in the end. Barbecue coming through. As Leon said, they need to take it a bit slower. Because the last time they had a great entry, they came through initially perfectly fine. But then, like, they over-rotate a little bit, it took a bit too many fights, they get themselves in a bit of a, you know, precarious situation, and w7m got the plan down and no one was there to actually say something about it. And we're on the back foot. Left them wanting. It would have been over otherwise if they were able to lock in that round. It would have been a 7-4 now.
Reload! Now. 6-5, and this is kind of what I wanted. I wanted a series. I wanted a show, and it's the first map. It's Koi's map pick as well. We go to Border, which, good luck, Observer. I mean, if this was hard to piece together as to who was going to have a first engagement, these two teams on Border is going to be like, you're just crossing your fingers, closing your eyes, and pressing, and hoping that you get the player that's going to be the first lead in on the fight.
Leon, just quickly checking, trying to find out where the drones are coming from. There's often a bit of an indication on where the push is entering from. That's actually happening from the house area. Early entry from JV92 into the building. Just holding off to the house stairs, is not finding anything as of yet. This boy's just running through some walls, taking some damage. He's creating rotations to allow his team and to move a bit quicker, but also put up a bit of pressure towards w7m once they do get to that point, because, hey, suddenly there's a lot of long angles, and yeah, sure, you can watch them, but if you move through them, you're opening yourself up to a whole lot of danger. This tower's being cleared out, so is Dragon, so is Shrine. Air jumps are being set up just to hold them back, to make sure they don't go more aggressive than they currently can be. w7m is still debating on how they want to approach this fully.
Says a lot that this game has got to the 5-6 situation. Every single Koi player is at least positive or even. And there's a couple on w7m's that haven't quite been able to get close to that mark. They've kept themselves in it via getting the drive down on the sites that matter the most, the plants. They can play the games even when they're sort of against the wind, and they couldn't be more so than on the death knell of match point. Spoit is trying to keep the angle, see if he can get off to the positive start that they've been able to take control of the past couple of rounds. No run out this time. Pressure comes from the opposite side. KZ is the first off the board, and well, they're going to potentially end this game negative now as well. Kanto, he's under huge amounts of pressure, but he's able to get a freebie onto Julio, who's looking into a different engagement. Tucked still on the main stairs, waiting for the swing round from Drum. They look over the player. They don't quite see each other, and there's another bit of punishment. Kanto from the same stair set gets two, looks for a third. Spoit's offering some support. Leon gets one, and Volps has to clutch out, gets the first. But he would need all the remaining members of the team to be able to keep them in this and get to OT. The buck can at least cause some problems below, but you know, as soon as you get down there, if you try to plant, they're just going to shoot you from above. But they do it anyway. Koi, they take their map 1.
Well done, we'll be very happy with that, and that will allow them to truly focus onto the next now. They want to be taking that first seed. You might wonder why. Well, that is because they get a bye. They are top 12 if they do, and all they need is a 2-0 victory to achieve that. And they're one step in the way there.
Well, our analysts predicted that maybe it was going to be a 2-0. I guess we'll only find that out after a quick break.
This way, go the way, boys.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do you do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Hello and welcome back here to the series between Koi and w7m. The first map, Koi's pick of Skyscraper, has fallen into the EU team's hands. w7m now have, well, first or second place to play for to try and bite back on theirs. On border, I am Fluke, and next to me is Hap.
Hello. Still haven't left.
No, still here.
Actually came back, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have you back.
Extra tea, you know? Just
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, 2 days off, lazy.
I was sick, in bed, and next to the toilet, basically. All you need to know. But we are back now. We are going strong. And we are headed into border. Now, again, the stakes, if you just join us, first of all, welcome. Welcome back, whatever it may be. If w7m wins this game, no matter how, they are first seed. If Koi wins this game 2-0, they are first seed. If Koi wins this 1-2-1 and G2 win their game on the other stream 2-0, it comes down to a lot of calculations, maths that I would really like to do, but don't really have the time for as of yet. So I'll have to do that after the result of the match, because it will become a tiebreaker. So the best thing Koi can do is just win this 2-0, get over with it, and make sure they take that into their own hands. Now you might be wondering, why is it so important to be first seed? Well, to talk about that, you get a bye, so you don't need to play the first round in the upper bracket. That means you're already top 12. You still have to play on the first day, because there's 2 upper bracket games the first day. But like, you play the second one, so you play an opponent that has already had a best of 3 knockout game under the belts. And otherwise, you start on that first game, if you are 2 or 3, and that means you need to play 2 games on that day.
That's it. You sort of find yourself in this position where you get to jump the first death knell. You will get an extra, 4 teams passed under your belt. That's 4 places already jumped during groups, during the stage. That's a lot more money. That's a much bigger prize pool than your fair share of it. That's a lot more opportunity to move forward as well, because it's upper bracket, lower bracket. I don't know if we've not explained this. If you're unaware of how upper bracket and lower bracket works, you pretty much get 2 lives if you're in the upper bracket. So you can lose one in the upper bracket and fight your way back from the lower bracket. And then at the very end, the person from the upper bracket who has survived everything, the person from the lower bracket who survived everything, will meet. The upper bracket will have some form of advantage. I'm not sure what it is.
I haven't checked into that either. I mean, that's next week, Sunday.
That's later.
It's going to be in more than 7 days, so nothing to worry about as of yet.
Anything that gets you an extra life, I mean, it's video games, we know that's good. Border. It's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. And as we head into the bans first, Though could be removed. Of course, with the new buff she's received, for those of you that might have not been playing Siege right now, or not recently, there is, of course, that change where now her phone calls boot everybody off cameras, even the dead people. And they cannot actually turn off their phones because they're dead. So they have to wait the entire duration through it, which makes it quite annoying. If you are playing an intelligence-heavy game, you're dead, your team relies on you, well, you cannot do anything about it. So, since that, often banned. Ace as well is a bit of heart breach. It's not often we see that happen, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, of those bans, Ace is definitely the most unfamiliar.
Yeah, so that might be specifically into how Koi like to play in terms of border and their operator selection.
There's alternates out there. Hibana is a very obvious one for ranged hard destruction. Obviously, they function in structurally different ways, different guns as well. The thing about if you're gunning with Hibana, you really don't have many bullets to do it with.
Let's quickly check in. How often Koi does use Ace on border, and a lot of their a lot of their attacks do have Ace, so the successful ones. So.
I mean, the thing is, Mr. Steinhap happened.
Yes.
You could say that about, I think, pretty much every single team.
Yes.
The people use Ace. Ace is, he's in a really good spot right now. I think he's one of the highest pick rates as well. Every sort of team will have that as their primary hard breach, because you're looking at a map like this, hatches aren't the big MO. There's only really one hatch that's ever often locked, and that's if you're holding bathroom and you have the hatch above there itself. Otherwise, it's walls, it's flat fights. And what's more limiting than limiting that?
No, of course, and you know, if you really need to be dealing with the hatches, you can bring a Buck or a Capitao that has the hard breach gadgets as well.
Which they've done. JV92 has a couple in pocket, you've limited the range, and you just make things more uncomfortable. Ex-Kairos, they sometimes have a mind of their own. The pressure comes onto the site armory, and with the Ossa, you assume they're going to go for something covered behind it, doubled up with the smokes and potential of the flashes to burn out time. They'll see if they can get the plant. The first is pressure. Here swung around, but Cryan might be the man of the moment if he can survive long enough. Look at this, though. A very dangerous double stack. Deepak is on one corner, Cryan in the other, and with grenades about to come up from underneath, are they in the right place?
They should be relatively safe. The shotgun shell through. It's going to be the entry kill for Koi. I was going to say, one goes for a jump out, they kill him. They don't expect his second to be there, but a kill instantly is in. And now the rotation comes. Julio's like, I no longer want to be on this win now. It's too afraid now. Could be pushed from two sides. We need to alternate our plan. And Koi, they have a moment to relax now as w7m going for grenades from below. Oh, just stepping on it. Just stepped over it.
Yeah, just got out of there. He was obviously on concrete, the one bit of this territory where you have some safety from underneath, but would have been shot from the angle, so the timing rotate there. Whether he knew or not, he's safe, and that's the big thing. There's also the call, and obviously, well, they're underneath us. Let's see if they can try and survive it. Another sidestep. Another bit of luck there for the guns of Koi. Kanto suffers a scrape on the next from the long range of Julio, but otherwise, things just aren't unfortunately hitting the mark right now for w7m from kind of not much fault of their own, but bad timing and luck.
Yeah, that's just it. Like, if those grenades would have been released, like, or basically started to be thrown a little bit earlier, as Cryan and Deepak both find one more. It's up to Julio and Keys now. Just trying, I mean, you're probably going to try your best to get one. Gives them an opportunity to fight. They still need to fight 4 more. Really don't have any control. They have the hallway, the main hallway. That's it. They can walk into the office. Flashbangs will be tossed in to try and blind. The hatches are being dropped by the players as well to, well, ensure there's not going to be any number advantage given away. As they push through the office, surely Spoit coming back up. The pre-fire there is going to halt his pace just a little bit, but not going to be worrying him too much.
Koi aren't overextending here as well. I mean, I think Deepak has played this entire round within about a square foot. The C4's over the top. There's a player close in, and when he finally suffers the wrong end of it, Julio, he might be able to get this planted. Suddenly it's a 2 versus 1, but Leon.
Round again, boys. Let's go. Just chill, mate. Like, not shouting. Just to relax, okay? They're not doing anything. It's 5v2. We can give them what they need, okay?
Yeah.
I played in one corner all rounds. Come on, apart from talents.
I like how he starts screaming and then he's like, wait, we need to relax.
But he was...
Thanks for the bait, Deepak.
Thanks for the bait.
Yeah.
Thanks, Deepak. Yeah, so stop shouting.
He's the one that shouted. Stop shouting. We need to stay calm.
Sometimes you have to have the loudest voice to quiet the loud voices.
Yeah, for sure. Good first round coming now from Koi there. A little bit of luck in terms of their movement, just moving out just in time by not being called out by those grenades, because, well, that could have been 2 for 2 otherwise. Number advantage for w7m at that matter. But they managed to escape them, and they managed to just get aggressive on them. As a result, extend their numbers advantage, and as Leonin said, we are 5v2. Let them have what they want to have. It's fine, like, they're not going to be winning if we're playing the straight game well. And that's exactly what they did there. Like, they gave him some space, they picked him up as they moved in, they traded each other as well. All of that working fine. Now, Spoit, again, wanted to go for a bit of a cheeky spawn peek here. It's not going to be given the opportunity as, well, w7m very much aware of how Koi likes to be playing their defenses. Just deciding to go for a different approach.
Well, the echo's out across the board, but nobody's caught, and that's kind of a surprise that nobody's dead at this point based on how early Koi like to have their engagements on the previous map, and Border will offer the same thing. The Candelas pop underneath into the bathroom. people are 3 rooms away from that. The E1D gives the reveal of a player inside Workshop, though, and KZ just can't quite get the full fight. But there's Leon and Deepak suddenly pop their heads up. Herds at least stems the flood of Koi in the top right corner. But once again, it leaves this moment. Herds finds another. JV92 creeping his way on the back end. Kanto gets an important fight back. They don't get the take, misses the first, lets the second slip through, takes the drop shot. Can he get the second? No, Cryan stops it, and Julio with a lot of time in a 2 versus 1.
Very quick round so far. 90 seconds have passed, not even, and you know, there's only 3 players left alive. 7 already died. Julio are alone, you know, just droned out that hatch. He's been spotted. They know he's going to be up coming from the top. The camera there as well is going to be forcing him to basically loop back around and, you know, try with his next drone, see if he can actually get some good information from that one. Well, the castle barricade's still up as well. There's nothing he can really do about it except for punching it 8 times. That just takes an age. So he really needs to be working through some of these open areas, these open doors. Seems like Workshop is going to be his approach. Proximity alarm will give away his attempt. Everybody, I believe, on the side of Koi already fell back quite a bit. Covering off the most extremes. They're getting a camera just up there, giving away the information, and then that makes it quite difficult for Julio because every single where he goes, it seems like Koi is aware of the fact he'd just been there. And as he rotates around again, he's going to be going for a hatch drop, I believe.
Well, that's it, and this is the one camera left. You saw it from the 3 dead Koi players. At first, they were watching 3 different cameras, then it was 2, and then they only had this bulletproof. The blind comes in, he wants an engagement. They've pulled themselves back. All of this is being bled and fed, so he's got to get this. But now it makes things a bit trickier. One more blind, smokes either side. Gonna see if he can hold F in and amongst the chaos. Cryan, they've got to push together. He's off the kit. He's not going for the plant. They'll hear the audio. They know that he's got to push for the fight. And there is Leon.
Shut boys! Let's go. Nice slow. That's how you play a 2v2, guys.
Guys, 2v1, you mean?
Same difference.
The 2-0.
2v1, you mean?
Yeah, 2v1. It was a 2v1.
Maybe I'll go you.
Doesn't matter at that point.
Playing a bit of Warden, maybe.
I just like how they're just, you know, think about...
Please! Bartosz of the meme team, Silty, there's got to be some
The
Warden Cryan memes. Please.
We need to, yeah.
I beg of you. Just a bit of Warden. Oh, you did.
Fan of Warden, he's the average Warden.
The average Warden enjoyer is Cryan. Everybody, if you want to be a chat, you go play Warden.
It's a secret. You know, and
love it. I love it.
Deepak likes to play it every now and then as well, but Cryan plays it more. That's why, you know, he has the bigger muscles.
Yeah. Perfect. All right, Koi. Their first 2 rounds on defense are theirs, and you know, I was in the green room in between, and I thought the last map was close. Ollie, I think it was a little bit more like w7m aren't feeling it today. They're not quite up to pace, and I was like, well, I kind of want to fight. I want to brawl. I want to see this go. I want to see them step in because we know what they can do. It seems like, unfortunately, and as loath as I am to admit it, Ollie is kind of being proven a bit right here. The rounds are still getting close, but it does still feel like the gunfight is handily into the side of Koi. It doesn't really matter who is left up from Koi. They're more than happy for the scrap.
Yeah, I would say the 50-50 fights are more favored towards Koi.
Yeah.
When it's like a 1v1 both for shooting at one another, Koi usually does get them. W7m has more like information kind of kills where they come in the back of them and just manage to catch them whilst rotating like this. With a grenade, it's going to be an injured Doe, not quite to confirm. The second should be able to do that. There you go. So that's Kanto taken out. That's an entry for W7m with their grenades.
Well, they were able to long arm it and put the pressure on, and can Koi try and pull back when they don't have the man advantage? We've talked about how there is a bit of a joy, there is a bit of a drive that comes from W7m when they have things working in their favor. They're happy to rotate and come up with new plays, and Leon, he makes sure that they're not able to do it with the advantage for too long. Tucked himself back towards the site. They have some idea that Bathroom is a bit clear of drones, so they can do exactly this and sprays back. I don't think they expected some countenance there on the Bathroom window, and they don't quite get it.
Drones being taken down. W7m Had the entry, lost it now. 90 seconds left. Of course, they're attacking ventilation. They're right on the front steps, but it's so dangerous to just go for a jump in. You don't know if the top is going to be watched, and you know the E1D that will stop them for moments. But Deepak, aware of the fact that the plant's going on, is being covered from above. Though he's not going to be able to go for the swing, and that means the plant goes down.
Yeah, that was very well watched. W7M, it was pointed out by Meepy before, they're very good at finding the weakness on a site, and if they're allowed to exploit it, they will. The kit is planted. And with only 2 remaining players, Spoit versus Cryan versus the World, they're going to see if they can try and isolate at least the first engagement. There it is. Spoit finds Julio, finds him just tucked onto the window. Cryan finds the fight on the stairs. They aren't going to be able to get the kit defused for too long, though. 2 remaining players, one on the kit itself, one at the bottom of the stairs. They pulled out. They've spread themselves out as well. One's watching the window, one on the door. Rotate round. They should be able to get the catch, but it doesn't even matter because the round was over already. 2-1.
Good play coming down from W7M, not taking anything like more than they needed to get this plan going on. Because what they did, open up the wall, upside down rappel, they removed the initial player on the half wall, which means that no one else is going to be going there anymore. And after that, you jump in, use E1D, you make sure the cover is there, no one can take you from above, and you're just taken down like that. So, a good plan coming through on the tertiary site that Koi brought. But we're headed back towards the top 4. We're headed back towards Armory and Tellers. Of course, a side that was won by Koi, but there was some unlucky moments, some unlucky timings for W7M2 grenades that, you know, were just dodged by a simple sidestep. And then as well, Deepak just, you know, thinking about, I'm just going to set a step forward and fire my shotgun right now, getting an injury on it. Like, if any of those would have gone the other way, it would have been a way closer round. So let's see if W7M is going to be bringing a different kind of approach.
10 seconds
We're getting the Capital, getting the Finger,
5 seconds left.
getting the Lion. There's repicks. No. Last second coming in as well. This is still a Ying, so there's going to be a bit of pressure coming through. I like the MPX with the extended barrel, by the way. It makes the gun a lot more, well, versatile, actually.
Well, I mean, the MPX is a pea shooter. There's never been any denial of that. Now it's got an extended barrel. It does slightly spicier peas.
Yeah.
It's still not huge damage, but the habaneros, so you can kind of get a little bit more from a little bit less, and that's the important difference here, because the gun has always been a laser beam. A good amount of range. It feels like it shoots forever. It probably doesn't, but it feels like it. In the right hands, average MPX enjoyer, average Warden enjoyer.
Spoit holding tight. Does he hear someone moving up? It might be. There he goes, spots the hair, and that's going to be a crouch shot from either side. Hertz wins out on that engagement. It's another entry coming through, make that a double. As the E1D pops up, the flashbangs come in as well, so they will blind him temporarily. The refrag comes in from Leon Gids. He's now going to go on the hunt.
That's it. Do they know one slip by? He doesn't quite get the full fight, but he's able to escape, and that's huge. But there's one below him. It's Scrappy and Hertz's because of the damage already sort of done. Deepak has the cover, though, and Koi's stepping in, but gets dropped down through the soft. Kanto, 3 versus 1. The blinds are there. The slight width of the angle of the explosive. He's trying to find the engagement as he loses his teammate. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's a scary moment when you're trying to pick up your C4. You just see a player just standing there menacingly. W7M getting back into it. They just closed the gap, brought it back to 2-2, equal numbers. I'm just going to be mentioning round differential in this game is going to be absolutely important if this does go to a map 3.
Because you really want to.
I really want to have a 3-way tiebreak for the first place.
I know you do.
It's always funny to have. We're not going to get a tiebreaker match, don't worry. There's like 17 different tiebreaker rules almost, so it shouldn't happen. If it does happen, I am going to be very, very happy about it though. But overall, if this does end up being a 2-1, and the G2 game does end up being a 2-0, Koi need +7 in round differential. They were +2 when this game started. W7M needs +3. Now, if W7 has less than +3, Koi has less than +7, then G2 is the first seed.
Yeah.
In that case. So, round differential in this game is going to be truly important here. So, considering w7m has a lot of making up to do, they need to be winning this one like with as much ground differential as they possibly can.
The fact that G2 is maybe going to find themselves eking into first place.
It's quite funny.
It's quite funny because they keep doing this. After everything.
Shows how close the group is. Kanto, Crying, both playing on contact of each other. Where someone was knocking on the door of passport control. So the barricades already being opened up as well, and JV92 just trying to, you know, get in one of those kills early on. Thing is, if he extends to one of them, the other is going to be playing off contact. And Crying has been spotted. I don't think they've actually seen Kanto.
Crying, yeah, he's getting a little bit aggro towards the window. He wants a closer engagement. Remember how Koi held us last time? They were quite spread out, far away. They didn't really have anybody directly onto the side itself, just a bit of extension and a huge hold above. They've gone with a slightly different hold, and w7m are going with a slightly different take. They're instead driving this inside the site. Herds with a double. Once again is the absolute kindling to the fire behind him. Julio's going to get this plant stuck. There's nothing to stop it. Deepak gets the first kill, gets the drop round the C4, will get the kill. Spoit in the meantime does some business on the back end. There's Spoit getting one more. Can they get this final kill? JV92. Well, his best bet was surprise, and he surprises the first. Now they know where he is. He tucks tail, dodges all of the spanners in the works being thrown over the top of him. Deepak and Spoit, they're able to get the take out of it though, and from what was a huge start, ends in a huge fight back.
It was a good push from w7m. They saw the opportunity, they went for it, got that double initial entry. But because they lost the player in bathroom, that allows Deepak to get that kill right afterwards and well, basically get them right back into it. Nice shots coming out, the 10 Qs as well. Koi leading 3-2 again in a very much needed round after we did see w7m turning the tides just slightly. And especially in that round as well, just explosive. Like
it was
out of nowhere. They snapped their fingers and they were inside.
In the words of our wonderful, beleaguered observer. God, I hate observing Border.
He does not like Border.
But, I mean, it's tough. It's tough because you just never know. It's 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds.
It is.
In 5 different places.
It's a very thin map. It's worse than Coastline in terms of the amount of like fights that just come through.
Yeah. But that's it, and you have to give credit there to Herds. He's sort of over this past couple of rounds because he was the lead in last time as well on the role of the Iana, which was obviously removed in the first map. That sort of step-in gunner being put back into step, being put back into the rhythm of this game. It's something that has been a little bit missed, as we said, from the other side. But then, clutch out there from Deepak. Spoit, as we said, working his way down the stairs at the same time, the middle stairs. Right place, right time, right idea with the C4.
Crying hiding underneath the desk. He's going to try and go and spot a go for a cheeky entry kill. They've been losing him quite consistently on Koi's side. Of course, Hertz last time got that double by just jumping through the back of an E1D and a stand up above to make sure there was no real cover coming in. He finds himself inside of the side already. Spoy gets the first though, JV92 taken down, but Hertz, he has no clue that someone is inside right there. Hertz does, but the Koi members don't. The entire side is cleared out. What's going on? Where's Koi?
I mean, I'm a little bit speechless, but I guess so is Hertz. He's not sure either.
It's like, the bomb is here. Where's Koi?
He's driven himself in. He's now concerned that he's found a window and has been too good this time round. They've lost JV92. He doesn't want to get revealed. He needs a support structure, but he needs them to not suffer on the end of it. So where's the route? Maybe via bathroom. Seems to be Julio's idea. The kit, it's tucked its way through, it wins the fight out, and now it's an even man count, and they kind of have a bit of control of the site itself. Julio's taken a bit of a risk here going for the engagement instead of trying trying to maybe push the kit round into the site. It's a hold, a bit of patience, a little bit of danger. And Julio stepping back towards the angle. It's the trust of the calls and the cover of the player there. They're obviously trying to find the perfect place, and underneath the hatch, it's a little bit dangerous, as Spoit proves. Gets the cover, Volps gets the take back over the vertical, Julio pushes the bathroom, and KZ is able to get one more for the trouble, the 3 versus 2. But we're still in that little bit of strange disbelief. What is safe, what is dangerous, and what is controlled territory, I don't really know. But Julio's going to trust that this side is a little bit more of that, and Spoit is going to maybe prove otherwise, utilizing the ability. Getting to the second story and shooting their own person. The calls are going down. The kit's being planted. He's trying to make the distance, but they've actually pulled themselves back round to another new location. And this is not just 2 ships passing in the night, but several.
This has been like the most hands-off approach I've ever seen from a defense. Like, this is just the attack is inside, the defense is not. That's basically what this round was. And the diffuser has gone down. Now it's going to be up to Koi to see if they can stop that from happening. Spoit finding himself in the middle of the site. Is he being chased, though? That is that big question. Yes, he was. Julio takes him down. He's in a 1v2 for Crime. Goes aggressive. The shotgun does not quite connect to the first goal, but eventually will shut him down 3-3. And the joy is coming out. Rightfully so, but Hurt just... He's in sight from the get-go. Again, I have no clue. This is like the most hands-off approach I've seen. Because it's like, as I said, the attackers at the full site, the defenders, they don't really care. They're just holding from above. They don't mind. Let them have it.
I mean, it's border. We say it's paper thin, we say it's explosive, and sometimes you find yourself on the other page and you find yourself on the other way through and you don't even really know how. And, well, an even half. An even half, it can potentially prove troubling. It can potentially prove meddlesome. We'll get again the taste of this. Koi, they'll be now onto their attacks. It's, for some people, a preferred side onto border. You can piece some good things together. But w7m know how to defend. They know how to stretch this game out. They know how to play it, and they will play it. They'll get themselves potentially a bit more space. It's almost a tougher game to guess from w7m is their defense and their attack.
Yeah, and these first 1 or 2 rounds are really going to be giving us a good idea of what it's going to be looking like. So it's what we're going to be paying attention to here. Keys, aggressive, opening up. Gives away the game, though, so he's instantly falling back. Drones coming through. Just chasing it. And there's the kill. Welcome to the A stream who have just joined us, and that does lead me to believe that the previous game is over.
Hey, welcome.
Hello, welcome.
You just missed a heck of a round, but I promise you there's probably going to be a lot more. 3 apiece, and we find ourselves in the second half of border, the second map, and as you can see in the top right, it's w7m's to see if they can try and fight back from the first map that was taken by Koi. And we've had a couple of big moments. It's time for Koi to step in after losing the most recent and not being able to get the advantage from their defense on the border side. Spoit tempted to go reverse fishing. There's the pull of the pin, which will signal the motion. Isn't going to entirely lock it down, or maybe will get the hatch open, wants to maybe find the angle on the rotate if the players are forced out, but they've already left. There's KZ on the back end to break, making sure they're not being watched, and they can play this for as long as possible and be the worst birthday surprise.
Looking, holding. Keys sees the drone roll by. He might have been spotted out there, and if he is, it is going to be an immense amount of pressure that should be pointed towards him. The pressure is coming through. Leon takes the kill. I thought it was Kanto for a second there. Keys is taken out. Fine instantly replied back to Dome.
Volps rotating around the metal stairs, getting himself back into the engagement, and this is the danger that border offers teams, is that you can be a bit fluid, a bit malleable, and quite aggressive over a couple of different swings, and still Spoit. It seems like every time we're looking at him, he's wondering whether to pull the pin on a grenade or not, and he hasn't quite been able to find the next connection. There's the break, the blind on the drone from the EMP. Doesn't quite get the full stop, but the bullets sure do. A minute on. And still with an even man count. Pockets of utility and watching the rotate underneath, but at this point the players have left break and CC and pulled themselves further back.
50 seconds, Koi, not really a lot of control yet. They're trying to get some grenades in vertically. They haven't quite been able to get the connections they needed. Volps takes a lot of damage by a grenade and also some shots coming out from Deepak, who, you know, is quite low himself as well, so he cannot sustain that fight, at least not for now. Candelas are going to be tossed in. Koi, you need to do something now. 30 seconds, Spoit getting up the metal stairs. He might be crucial in this spot.
Well, there, you can see the pinches coming towards Fountain. They've also got Leon on the far end on AC, and it's the first Fountain fight caught on the blind. There's Spoit swinging for the next. There's one more tuck left. He only sees him a little too late. The call will come and Deepak's the cover. With the plant now trying to go down, but Julio, he's got himself in the perfect place to ruin the dreams. Leon, he's got to get the kit picked back up. He won't have the time to find the fight. He's gonna get it. Locked on the opposite. It's a long sprint. How quick are you, Julio? Quick enough!
Well played by Julio there. He knew exactly what was going to be happening. He knew where the diffuser had to go down. And again, a bit of a lack of information coming through. You cannot blame his execute from Rogue. Spoit taking down those 2 kills. He dies instantly after their instant refract to come through. But they thought it was going to be clear from CCTV break. No flank drone there to provide them the information Julio is coming. Otherwise, they could have rotated around, planted in a safer position, and actually had someone waiting for him to come through. And w7m, they take the lead now. And I'm going to have to do it, Emmy, so we're going to be talking about spoilers for a second.
Well, they came from A.
Yeah, that's true. So the A people know now.
And that game is long since over. It's not a spoiler.
But the B stream people don't know.
Oh, I don't care. Ruin it.
G2120. There we go. It's been ruined. And that means that, you know, they did everything they needed to do. They have themselves an opportunity where they are now tentative first place, and it really depends on this game whether or not they stay there.
I'll warn you now, if you hate maths,
don't listen. Yes.
Don't listen, because I do, and I don't listen to Hap at all. He's about to talk about mini leagues.
No, I'm just going to say there's a potential for a mini league. We'll get to it if this map indeed ends that way. All Koi need to do is get this in a 2-0. Keys goes aggressive. Does a lot of damage, but not quite enough to pick up the kill. But he didn't lose anything on the back of it, so it's basically only profits for the side of w7m.
I think if this round goes away from Koi, we'll have a bit of a conversation once again. w7m, they're feeling it, whether it's just to get a tactical idea or not, break the momentum. Either way, it's a little bit problematic right now. KZ, he's happy to be a little bit devastating here inside break. He's using the Solus for its full ability. The range is massive. You can really get a good idea of where the intel and the pressure's coming from, but it's border. The pressure's pretty much coming from everywhere at all times. So he already rotates out of there, goes towards the swing onto 90, just to the side, and slips even further and further away. They're gonna now hold the verticality. Remember where the side is. We just spent a minute getting the clear on the top corner on the opposite end.
Oh. First kill coming through. Kanto will take down JV92, and that opens up massively up into the top floor. I believe it's only 3 players left up top. Even though the side is down below. It's not quite as a hands-off approach as we saw from Rogue earlier on, which w7m was able to punish. They might actually turn into that. Koi might be trying to manipulate the map their way to ensure they can go for a plant whilst the cover is out there. But it does require someone to keep Keys at bay. Make sure he's not going to be able to move too much.
Wow. Moving seems to be one of the problems. Obviously, it was the biggest in the previous round. They're getting a catch on the players. They're limiting the play space and hoping that they can keep that control. But as we said, without that verticality, without the direct drive, they're really kind of in no man's land. They've got to see if they can at least force some of this play. And Armory seems to be the idea. Just getting the crossfire. Spoit stacking up, putting the pressure onto the small box, hoping to get somebody on the rotate pass. They're just going to stay in on the opposite end as Kryan actually suffers. KZ pops up, gets Deepak. Spoit takes some damage, and KZ finishes them off. They're doubling up and tripling for the door either side. Volps gets the end of Kryan. Volps is swinging wider and wider. 4 bodies approach the fight. None of them got through. Leon, now alone. It's 30 seconds and a 1 versus 3.
Jumping through, taking a lot of damage. That's 1v3, he's not going to find the first. Hertz locks it off, and that is going to be a 3-5 scoreline. Tactical timeout will be coming in from Koi. Gonna have 45 seconds to discuss, as again, the P90 is just such a menace, right? It's low recoil, has a lot of bullets, a decent rate of fire.
And KZ's a menace.
And KZ's a menace as well. I put those two together.
Get on those flanks, get in that fucking room. I don't give a flying fuck if there's a guy in there. You double push it, you kill him, right? Sod off all this nading shit if it's wasting too much time, right? Yep. Call what you want, say what you see. That's the biggest thing and the most important thing. You have to listen to each other. Don't speak to each other, you have to listen to each other. Okay?
Yep.
Easy fucking peasy. 4 rounds in a row. We've done it before, we can do it again. I've got absolute unshakable faith in you boys, okay?
Let's get it, boys. Come on.
Easy fucking peasy. Hype yourselves up. Let's go, boys.
Let's go.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. 4 rounds in a row. They've done it before. They can do it again.
Done it before. I mean, it's good to get. Obviously, we've had 2 meepy timeouts over the past this map and the previous map, and they have 2 very different dialogues, which is good. We talk about the importance of coaches. We're talking about how for the first time in forever we're getting a true taste of a peek behind the curtain at what it's like, and you see the difference in approach there. Last time it was, you know, they were sort of saying they're trying these rotates, we're being a bit too over the top, we need to stop throwing this away, we need to cool things down. This time it's, you need to be confident. You need to push through these fights, and you can see it there. The best example was they had however many of them stacked up trying to take the push onto Armory. 4 of them eventually tried to just go through the wall itself with the pressure, and just KZ and Volps swinging either side of the single hard wall that was left standing was enough to stop them, because they didn't move in behind it. They didn't try and push behind the momentum, which is strange because one of my favorite things when Spoit first started playing was the Spoit maneuver of throw a grenade and then move in behind his own grenade and take a bit of damage so he could fight immediately.
You also heard him say, like, just forget about the grenades if it takes too much time from below. Like, you can use them elsewhere, right? You can just throw them in a room, as you said, and just run in afterwards. You have a couple of seconds. By the way, quick opening into detention. Very cheeky vertical angle there from Keys.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to challenge, I believe.
Gonna see that in ranked games.
Yeah, he definitely will be. Opening to be made as well. That's an instant follow-up. Well,
there it is. And this is what they're talking about. There needs to be that movement behind the motions. Instead of trying, as me pointed out, those little grenade cooks, those little plays, play the game that they can do well, which is that real smashing through whatever's put ahead of them with a gun either side of it. JV92 still in a position to put some of this context back, but look at that, the swing through, the pressure's being applied. Suddenly, Koi seem like they've got a bit of energy about the guns, and w7m suddenly feel like they're under pressure earlier on.
Attackers have located a bomb.
The double entry definitely will be putting up the pressure here. Still some players up above, still some players off the site. And there's going to be herds that is crucial here. They wanted to put up some pressure, but they decided against it. Maybe they were like, we don't actually need office. We can leave the player out there if we take this site.
Because it does give them a run out as well.
Yeah, it does give him a run out, but this is also like, if you do not clear him out, I believe they have just thrown him out. Yeah, they do now. So now definitely there's going to be some pressure coming through. See grenade already being cooked. That's going to be tossed in, and that should be a guaranteed kill. No, it wasn't, but at least the spray through is. It's going to be the injure coming in. That brings it down to Julio and Volps.
Well, Julio and Volps, we've seen Julio pull off some pretty huge clutches throughout this, and Volps some pretty big fights, but against 5 Koi players fired up from the wise, impassioned words of Meepy. Well, the passion's still flowing. There goes Julio. Here is Volps. Can we hear him roar? 5 versus 1. The first is his, Kanto, but the call will come out on the position of the player, and they know what to watch. Koi.
Too far off site there as well, so as soon as that kill came through, it's like, okay, you know, we'll get ready to plan. We just hold the 2 ways he can come back from, and there's no way back. Beautiful opening, by the way, using the S-charge and just 2 guns firing through. The isolation as well, the solos by that drone. Beautiful plays coming down from Koi. This is what they need to do. They need to work together. You heard me say it. You mentioned it before. Work together. Say what you see. Say what you need, more importantly, because that's how you're going to be able to deal with a team like w7m together. Now it's 5-4. 1 more round to equalize the score. 2 to find themselves in an overtime position, at least. 3 to lock it off 2-0 and take the first seed.
Oh, You know, there's a sick part of me.
What's the sick part of you?
That wants the mini league, but only from the fact that it was so statistically unlikely.
Lean into the mini league.
We joked about it yesterday. I said technically, you know, they can get the 4 points, they can get the 8 points, they can get themselves first.
Yeah.
I think it was when Mr. Officer from Heroic was in the room and alongside Milos, and then they were like, "That's not going to happen. It's impossible." And the fact that it's possible is like, come on.
It's going to happen. I believe in it. The thing is, though, if w7m win this 7-4, Koi's automatically out of the equation for the mid-league.
Yeah.
So they will be 3rd place.
Ooh, Leon. It looks like w7m want to try and bite back. Sprayed through the soft. He was just getting the camera, and now Hertz is going to reposition slightly. They're making statements back in. To be fair, we've seen w7m doing this throughout most of it. And the Oryx, he can hot foot it and hot jump it up via the hatch to a new place.
Frostmat down there needs to be taken care of. He got one, but there's a second one. There you go. Taken out as well. Well done.
Thanks, Brian.
I was going to say it would be very detrimental if Spot jumps in after it's like, yeah, I cleared out the Frostmat, but of course there was two that drone it out that knew exactly what they needed to deal with. It's been taken care of here. 2 minutes on the clock. Koi not really having any control yet. Still mostly outside of the building on the top floors. Ryan is below. He's getting some pings. No one really there, though, so he's not going to be doing anything. And entering for a passport check as well, I believe. Keys is coming in to see if he can go for a bit of a cheeky play. That drone has spotted him out, though, so that's not going to be a guarantee. Oh, no! The bait with the drone!
Pulled the play, tucked, and Leon got a trade on a drone. And that is a big blow there. Sometimes you get a bit blinkered with fancy new gadgets, and that one was right in front. Spoit, though. He tried to get an entrance onto the round desk. Leon, once again, in a position. This time had to trade out a person rather than the drone, though. Kanto putting the pressure onto Break. There's a break on the wall right next to him. Volps is trying to step in, but Leon keeps stepping back up. One more body for it. Herds on a huge rotate and a flank possibility. If gone unchecked, could be big, but what way do you look? That is the ever-present problem with Border. You never really know where they're going to be tucked. There's a lot around you. They seem to have some awareness. There's the first, there's the second. Can he get the last? No! Deepak at least stops it, but it got it a lot closer from Herds' hero play, Julio. 2 versus 1 to see if he can clutch it out with 30 seconds. There's a bit of separation. Koi, they're trying to recollect, get themselves tucked back together. Cryan with a long-range run and with a single exothermic in pocket. They've just got to try and make this pinch come together. You can see the rotate onto 90. You can see the difference angle. They're going to push Beeper's door at the same time. See if they can just try and push the engagement and the call. The Banshee will scream. It's dropped. They've got to look both ways. The first is a scrap. Julio gets picked by the second. And Koi are back level.
It's that simple.
Captain, why did he stop watching your flag?
I was going to say, good point.
From the fucking top main, so I thought...
Good point. Kent, of course, he says why, but I was like, there's again no flank drone. Hertz again allowed to go for an insane flank like this. That shouldn't be allowed to happen. But Kent was afraid someone's coming in from the top main. He checked that. Just as he checked that, he got shot at from behind. So, just unfortunate timing. But Hertz really could have turned the tides there.
Almost did.
He almost did. And now it's 5-5. Koi fighting back. And w7m seeing their opportunities of reaching this map into their own pockets. Will slowly disappear. Because if they lose this next one, suddenly it is map and series points for Rogue. Koi, sorry, that's the awesome. I don't know where that one came from.
They merged.
They merged. It's the first time they're on.
It's not as egregious as if put out. But yeah, Koi. Nice purple jerseys. Very cool.
Like the jersey.
Yeah, it's very cool.
5 seconds.
Very cool.
Very fiery logo as well.
I can't believe you just didn't respond to that.
Sorry. Coil. Is that what you said?
Wow. It's too late now. Hey, what's it too early for? That. Gets caught out. Is able to find Leon, and that's a bit early in the day to be that prepared, but as I said, it's not that w7m are trying new things or shaking new things. This whole half, they've been going for those early bites and leading into it. They still trust in the mental and the mentality of how they want to approach this map, whether it's 5-5 from where it was or not.
This time there's a pre-placed drone and break. Kanto just holding tight. It's gonna be a Solace though, so could be trying to figure out where that drone is located and take it out later. Entry from below. 2 operators with grenades right underneath a player that is on the soft floor. Are they gonna go fishing? Well, they definitely are thinking about it. All I need is just the information. Where is the player? The hatch could be watched. Is watched. Oh, Frostmat!
Oh no!
And
oh no!
Falling apart.
Is able to get one with the drop down. Julio gets the other. All of the audio of a single trap. Julio swings the door. And what an absolute blowout there. That has been a disaster of a round for Koi. w7m, they're sitting on map point.
That is
a whoops.
A whoopsie and a half. You lose someone to a spawn peak, you know, that happens. That happened on either side. And then you think you're safe on the bottom floor. And then a frost mat.
Well, that's the thing. Where the frost mat was, you know, I think the hatch directly above was open.
It was open.
The other hatch was locked. So you're in that situation of where do you look to sort of get the coverage. It's not easy to get the fight bottom to top from that situation because they can swing you from the rotate. They have a lot of width if 90's open, which they knew there was the player around 90. It was just, you know, it was, you've fallen for my ruse. But on like the worst scale for Koi, yeah, it was like going through a haunted like circus trap.
Like, from that frost mat onwards, like everything went wrong, like within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Is that happened and suddenly like w7m just completely annihilated Koi.
Hey, that's a blitz.
And it's a lime. It's a glass and a ying.
What do you think this is?
My professional opinion?
Yeah, your professional opinion. What do you think this lineup signifies?
I think this is a quick play attempt, trying to get the diffuser down.
Window, do you think?
I mean, could be. I mean, you know, you get the smokes in, you get the candelas in, you have Glass watching overhead, and you have Leon trying to go for a reverse plan. The only thing that can really stop him is a C4. Now, there's 2 of them on the board. Hertz and Volps both carry on. Now, a fun little change would have been to bring a Thatcher and just keep Thatchering, so things can go off.
That's
a good entry.
First, yeah, Spoit. Able to find out JV92 as the first lead-in to this. You've lost the castle. There's the blinds. There's Leon going for the plant inside the site, behind the cover of the smoke, slightly off the position. They're going to rotate around. The C4 gets the man with the cover, but not the planter. The second does, but we're in a 3 versus 3 post-plant. They have the site, technically. Koi's got a bit of a distance to run, and they can't quite make it that way. Cryan's caught out. KZ, they know they've got time. They have to make sure every second counts. And look at Kanto, tucked and holding with Spoit getting the cover. They don't know about Kanto. And do they talk about him? Well, let's find out. They're going for the retake. There's Kanto tucked in the corner. He might not have been watching the flank on that previous round, but he was more than ready this time. w7m don't have the time to get to the kit at this point, can only find the kills, and we are going to OT.
What a round that was. Kill comes in from the end. Kanto playing that smart, I have to say. He ran past, he knew he couldn't get the kill, so what do? Trigger discipline. You don't fire, you just hold. Don't let them know you're there.
Oh, he had one job.
He had one job, and that's just to make sure that that diffuser was never going to be dismantled. And if that means that you just hide for a little bit, that's fine. Smart plays, experience is well coming through. Having a bit of faith in your teammates above to waste some time. And now it's 6-6, overtime. Koi really fighting for this, wanting to lock this up for the 2-0. w7m hoping to survive. Armory again. It's Koi back on the defense. And let's see the last 2 times that happened. It was a Koi victory and it was a w7m victory. So a bit of a 50% going on in this game so far. On the Armory site. Capkins coming through. Crying, of course, playing his beloved Warden again.
10 seconds left.
No doubt about it.
5 seconds.
6 apiece. W7m, you need this more than they do right now. You still have the opportunity of fighting for one of the top 2 seeds. Based on the result, if this slips away from W7m, they will fall to 3rd into the lower bracket alongside SSG.
No, it's also upper bracket.
Was 3rd place upper bracket?
2nd and 3rd are both upper bracket. First is with a bye, and
all right,
4th place is lower bracket.
I mean, it's still bad, but
It's still, well,
from 1st.
yes, from 1st to 3rd is not happy something, you know. So, still the entry kill though. So they're starting off strong in this round. Wanting to, of course, start off strong, make sure that they can push this to a map number 3. Oops. Was being shot at there, so he's quite careful of trying to move up the staircase. Quick stun coming through just to allow him out.
They're trying to find that lucky pick here. And what we had on a few of the attack rounds from the side of W7m was Herds stepping in and just screaming his way through a portion of the building and a couple of Koi's players, with Leon the first off the board, who was a big response to some of those pushes. Well, it buys them that foot in. It buys them that extra little dabble of danger they can try and get. Deepek, he's ready with this ripped so he doesn't give the full audio, but as he heard the drones get close, he's instead going to rethink the idea. Fountain is a little bit covered by Crying. But where is the push coming from entirely from Koi? Well, not via guns yet. Instead, the breach, the break, onto the site. We talked about the ban of Ace and where it might matter. The ranged hard destruction in use now by the Habana on this wall is the specific place.
Drops are coming through from Crying. He's going to be playing that vertically with that C4. Spoit doesn't quite manage to get through that rotation. He wants to go on a flank. As the attack from w7m is slowly starting to come up, Spoit gets the first. Is at least going to be alleviating the pressure a little bit as Keys fights back on Kanto. Deep back, strikes with the SMG-11. Wasn't able to hit the second one though, brings it back to a 3-on-3.
Spraying over the top of Spoit, who breakdances for safety. There's a big rotate coming from underneath the fire. Ooh, the smoke. The fire would have been the better move there, but instead they're going to see if they can try and force it. Spoit uses that as his own rotate. Takes the head off of one, and suddenly they've lost the man advantage, and JV92 rebalances it. A huge damage from Capcan on the way through the door. There's still 2 C4s on the board and only 30 seconds. That could be a bit of a risk factor right now. They're going to force maybe a rotate, maybe a position change from Deepek. He's not quite sure what to do yet. He's sitting, waiting, holding, and there's a take! Cannot find the second on 1 versus 1. Julio has to do it against Crying right now with only 10 seconds and still a C4 on the board, the pre-fire, but it doesn't quite connect. He's gonna push wide, and Kanto post-mortem.
Come on, boys. Oh my god. This next round is ours.
Gotta check them doors.
Watch it, boys.
Good shot I hit on the guy offers, by the way.
Gotta check them doors.
Just please put that as the operator description on the bio.
Or Capcan.
The Capcan.
Gotta check them doors.
Gotta check them doors.
2 Capcan traps actually went off there, but you cannot really blame Julio. I mean, he was running out of time in a 1v1. He needed to make it into the site.
Well, we had the great quote from the previous map was, I'm going to play Capcan to irritate them.
Yeah.
And they know that w7m, sometimes they'll either see an opportunity and just get there. They'll A to B with no care for what's in the middle, which is one way that can go bad if it's unchecked. The B part of that is if things go wrong for w7m, they like to rotate and they're a bit slow about it.
Yeah.
So when the time comes, when is Capcan the best? Oh, when there's 30 seconds left in the round and they don't have the time to check every single door because they're expecting to swing fights.
There's only one more annoying place to run into a Capcan trap, and that's a wedding, as we heard last year.
10 seconds to go.
But Koi, that is currently 6-7 up. One more round. They secure themselves for that first seed,
Out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
which is that bye, which brings you to top 12
Bomb has been
in the Six Invitational. And they would avoid any of the mini leagues coming through. Scryan is checking through with his drone, trying to find as much utility as he can. Doesn't spot out any Capcan traps, of course, as there isn't any. The rest of Koi setting themselves up to go for a bit of a quick push. Or at least an execute, rather. Leon ready, of course, with the glasses, waiting for Spoit to start putting up some pressure. Deepak hoping to toss in some of these Candelas quickly as soon as the windows open up, but that might just be an explosion onto the side.
Well, there is the opportunity. There's a little bit of a hush and a lull. The Candelas pop out over the top once again. They don't have the magical glasses to stare through it because they're under huge amounts of pressure. They've got their own problem to deal with. The smokes are in a different fight, and there's the spray through. Deepak finds the first. Hertz gets one back. Cryan goes down, but it's a fight on the door for Kanto to take. Now, they've been able to focus themselves towards it, but in the 4 versus 2, Julio has to pause, wait, as the E1D starts to instead come towards this stickier situation. A minute 40, more drones roll by. Julio just got spotted, I believe, on the tail end there. Does see it eventually, and oh, he's going big. He's going for a chance. It's such a risk. They're circling him. Every single door and way out is covered. He somehow slips away, but look at the health on Volps. Look at the health on Julio, and look at what you still have on the opposite end. Deepak finds the end of one. Volps gets one back. And for a chance at continuing to fight in this series, Volps has to take out 3 remaining players. I mean, you're looking at them firing their guns on this day. It's been a huge kill game from Koi, as it often is. But when they're feeling it, sometimes it's insurmountable. 50 seconds. All the time in the world. Kick control, good knowledge on where they are. It's really theirs to slip away, the positioning, the cover, the distance from Volps. How do you break through? He's going for a bit of movement there towards the top of 90, holding the angle. You see that he's gone for a little bit of a rotate. Spoit's watching deep, all the way down 90 and towards Beepers. As soon as he takes a step, Koi ends the game.
Koi with that end themselves in the first seed in their group. G2 will be second, and w7m find themselves in third. We avoid the mini-league, it's not going to be happening. It is going to be Koi that takes it straight up, and they'll have themselves a bye on the first day of playoffs.
I mean, it's been a very bitter fight in this group. We highlighted it as a group of death, and you know, not everyone has performed every single game to the best level because, well, you don't expect them to. It's a very tricky series. It's 5 days, best of 3s, huge long maps and huge long fights against the best in the world. And now, only now, in the last one, do we get the shape of the top 4 teams. And Koi have definitely fought for it.
And that means that this group is now completely done. All the games have been played. They have been settled. They know what is waiting for them. Or, well, really, do not really, because the opponents are not known yet. But they can now sit, wait, and watch all the other teams as those, well, some still need to be locked in, and others are trying to fight for seeding.
And this is the scary thing, because if we talk about the group of death and we talk about where we're at, it's not just about who gets the top and who gets the bye, but it's also that people are going to have to try and fight w7m now, and they're fired up as a third place team. You've got G2 performing well. Who knows what's going to happen? Well, we've got a lot more games and a quick break first.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do you do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position, that is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Welcome back, friends, to SI 2023. Our game is done, and so our entire Group A is now complete, with Koi taking down w7m 2-0. Welcome to the desk. I'm Milosh. With me are Demo and XR Troika. It's been proven scientifically that w7m can bleed.
I think that was important, because there was a little bit of a worry with this group, wasn't there, Milosh? We were worried. We were like, is w7m just going to go through and terminate their way through the whole entire group? Well, the answer is no. They came up against a very good Koi today.
I'll be honest, I think as good as what Koi were, I personally think Koi should have won that a lot better. I think anyway. I know that may be crazy to say that, oh, you know, they took the win. What are you on about? There was still, I don't think that's Koi at their best, which I think is the scary thing. That's the thing I think we should be taking away, is that Koi, yes, they had that slip against G2, but look at the run they've went on. They have not dropped the map since then.
Maybe our top 3 in Group A are definitely in the top 3 to make the whole tournament go their way. Who knows? We'll talk about that in just a second when we recap the group, but we're going to go through maps one by one. Our first one in the series popping up on the screen was Skyscraper 7-5, and Demo, you're saying Koi should have won this ages ago.
I think there might be some...
I'm slightly confused.
That's...
Ento officially at w7m. It's the reverse with the teams. Don't worry about it, but the scores are right. So what do you think?
For Skyscraper, I think Koi should have won this ages ago. It shouldn't have been 7-5. Koi, for me, there was 2 things that stood out today. I think one was their refrags were very sloppy. I think whenever they're losing players, there's no bite back to get that kill back in their favor and keep it level. And 2, they're bringing like a lot of nades for a lot of the attacks, and there's barely any nade kills. So that's another thing for me that I'm seeing, is just the nade placement isn't that good from Koi today. A couple of throws, I'd say, Ollie, in there as well. I think the Gids one where Leon pushing down the stairs has the diffuser instead of going upstairs and planting, at least crying in the 1v1. Moments like that I think Koi just made it difficult for themselves.
I don't want to go out there and say that Koi looked nervous today, but they didn't look as confident as we've seen them look in the past. W7M is a very difficult team to play against, because they will play a ratty style of siege. They will hide behind drones. They will sneak and flank, and they will get themselves into really difficult positions. Throughout the series, both teams exhibited great trigger discipline and great ability to pick the right time and to find that opportune moment. Now, W7M, they found a couple of those moments, and it really opened quite a large door on Skyscraper.
This round scared me.
Plenty of plants went down as well. This was one of the moments, he's truly behind enemy lines here, and it was the way that Koi tried to deal with it. They just didn't deal with it in an effective way.
That's what I'm saying with the bite back.
They were still able to win the game.
The refrags.
But on a different day, you think, you know, would that have necessarily gone the same way? W7M, they didn't look as sharp as they have done previously today. There was definitely something underlying there. Obviously, I'm not sure if, you know, losing at the end of the group stage is necessarily the best time to lose. I think that Koi probably hit that momentum, getting it out of the way nice and early and resetting themselves. But for me, it was certainly a close one. Close on the scoreline, but it should have been a lot cleaner from Koi.
And when we went into map 2, we were talking about it in our pre-game. Border should be a very exciting one. Both teams are very active, constantly proactive, running around the map, trying to find openings. When you put them against one another on the map, that allows you to do that. In a Border, well, you get these results, 8-6. So you went to OT, W7M close to closing it, but Koi stumbling until they took it to OT.
Yeah, again, for me, I think Koi, they always seemed as if they were in the lead in this game. I think the opening kill department for this map was exemplary from Koi. They were always there at the front, ready to go. I think Koi's shown how you play Border. You know, you think about some of the pocket rushes, Ollie, in the later stages. That's what it's all about, creating a bit of chaos.
They did a great job of the pocket rushes, and it's somewhere that they actually shone. They were picking very standard lineups throughout, and then all of a sudden, bang, we were getting the blitz come out there. We were getting little bits of play. I don't think that the blitz round went entirely as planned, but it was a round that came off. I know that Kanto had a really good little moment in there inside a workshop, and did a fantastic job of tucking himself away. It came down to those ratty playstyles, and we saw that in operator selection, both sides. A lot of traps, a lot of cap cans, a lot of frosts, and they were working. You know, they were catching people out. I think Spoit fell to a stinker of a frost mat downstairs in customs. But again, a game that goes to overtime is by no means a clear result.
scrappy. I think the rounds were close, weren't too many flawlesses in there. I think there was maybe 2 or that throughout the series, but for the most part, yeah, right down to the wire. And you come back to the rush situation that we're talking about with W7M. It happened against G2, where they get into overtime. You know, G2 are playing this one way, and then all of a sudden they change their play style. They go for these quick rushes, they adapt. And W7M, again, for them today, you know, Koi are playing the same way again. Then all of a sudden, bang, rushes out of nowhere, and W7M are nowhere to be found. This is now a recurring theme where W7M, they struggle to almost like realize that, hey, we could get rushed, which it's going to happen. That's the meta at the moment.
The only way to beat W7M is go faster than them, faster than light. And Koi proved to be the team to be able to do it. It gave us a close series. That's closer than what G2 was able to do against W7M. But again, all 3 teams proving that they are one another's kryptonite, and really in this group, nobody was able to take them down except for one another. So that bodes well for highly competitive playoffs once we hit things on Monday. So final thoughts on this Group A, since now it is complete, boys?
Wouldn't have thought W7M would be third.
Yeah, I don't think that W7M would have pitted themselves as third, and I think a lot of people sat at home would expect them to be sat a little bit higher. G2, for me, are a big surprise there. I think there was an expectation on them coming in that they had to perform because obviously they've made a change and they're looking for some of that success. But it really is a group of 2 halves, isn't it? You know, you can separate the top and the bottom quite distinctly there. Space Station and Elevate really struggling here. Space Station having a horrible last 2 days.
They're lucky Elevate's in that group. You put in another team, you know, you look at Group D, they don't have the APAC team. Imagine if there was no APAC team in this group, there'd be worries for SSG.
And then Koi, top of the pops.
Yeah. They made it at the end. The Berlin major winners are top of their group. And let's be honest, when we saw things in day 1, we were thinking, oh man, this is going to get real tough for Koi real quick. But it was all right. They recovered. It was just a day. And you know what? The first one, it's always kind of one you can discount from it all. G2 and W7M at 12 and 11 points, 13 for Koi. Tight as a drum between all 3 of those teams. And any other day, maybe with another coin flip or whatever, couple of temperatures higher or lower, maybe it would have been one of them, because you saw how close those maps were between them. Scary to see those 3 teams. Now, before we wrap it all up, who do you think is going to go further now into the playoffs between those top 3?
Looking at momentum, you've got to give momentum to Koi at the moment, because they've done a great job of, I don't want to say recovering, but they've done a really good job of bouncing back from that day 1. You look on the side of W7M, now they're coming into the playoffs off the back of a loss, which it's not going to get in their heads too much, but it's not going to feel amazing. So for me, I think you've got to be looking at Koi and thinking, if they're going to start hitting their stride now, this could be their time.
I look at W7M, and if you don't know how the kind of situation we're dealing with now as we go into the playoffs, second place gets to pick a third place from another group. The second place team's in another group. Who's picking W7M? No. Who? I feel sorry for everyone's last pick. W7M will be the last team you want to face going into your first game of playoffs. So unlucky, you know, second seed you think is good. You don't want to be second seed now.
I would have thought. Well, at the end of the day, I can't wait to see how that bracket looks like, but that'll be later on in the day once it is fully populated with our teams from the group stage. That was Group A complete. Let us know what you thought about it in comments in the chat room over on Twitter, because there were some exciting matchups. I still think that the G2W7M game was very much high up there.
I think G2 still should have won that. It's still enough.
I agree, but it was a good game. I think we can agree on that.
We can agree on that. I'll agree with you, Milosh, on that.
Thank you. Finally, some sense on this desk.
Well, hang on a minute.
Hold on a minute. We have to delay for a minute here before we're actually allowed to go off the air, so don't worry about it. Group B, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be starting off in just a bit, by the way, which is right after we're done with it. Around 20 minutes from now, we should be setting up for our pre-game show. Till then, we just got the call. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the desk, speaking some sense. That's Group A done. We'll see you in a few for Group